Catholic Cookie Monster's back, and he's all out of cookies. Really interesting that he decided to come out with this yesterday on Sunday. Obviously, he was going to put it out on a Sunday. That much is obvious. But just so happens to be the same week that everybody's talking about Muhammad Hijab. He's fat, he's drunk, he's on the beach, he lost the defamation case, he's poor. And then he puts this out. Obviously, this is all kind of in the same sector. So while everybody's talking about Muhammad Hijab, all the big guys, he comes out with this. And because of that, the only people I'm seeing that are of any prominence who are talking about it right now are the strictly like Catholic guys. Like I think Wagner and Avoiding Babylon are actually streaming live right now. They'll probably give some. I don't know. It's clear that Wagner was raised on the internet, so he kind of gets this stuff a little more. But I imagine they'll give some pretty milquetoast reply about it, mostly in the right direction, which is that, like I said, any kind of any road back for this guy ain't gonna happen online. We'll see what he says here. Based off of his previous quote apology, which was like a straight out of the big YouTuber Cope textbook reply, where he basically he focused entirely on the most extreme claims, which were that he was having inappropriate conversations with with an underage catechumen, but that they did not have sex until she was 18. He focused explicitly on that claim and specifically on an age that was not the final reporting on it. Then threatened to sue everybody and then said, sorry you feel that way, basically kind of response. I don't know if this is going to be more sincere. I expect most of this will be talking about the underage stuff because he knows that is, obviously that's the kill shot. It's always the kill shot in dumb dramas like this. I think he'll do whatever he has to do to prove that didn't happen. And then say, yeah, I'm sorry, I just like cookies, guys. I swear I won't do it again. And then he'll probably not make another video for, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then slowly begin going back into carrying on as usual. I think my original prediction during the first VOR video was that within 6 months, this guy will be fully hooked back in. And that the only way he wouldn't be is if like the people in this theology, the Religidome, put their foot down and say, sorry, buddy, but you're not tough enough for this Weenie Hut Juniors. Like you need to go to actual church and kind of figure your shit out. I expect that's the position that Avoiding Babylon and Wagner are going to take. They'll say it nicer than I just did, but they'll basically say that. The problem is I'm already seeing on Twitter the coping being like, oh, we have to forgive or whatever. And it's like, first of all, we aren't in a position to do anything. We don't know this guy. We don't know what his actual habits are or whatever. Again, any road back is going to occur entirely offline. And he should not be a public figure anymore because it was him being a public figure that allowed him to do these things in the first place. And again, like the comments. Now, to be fair, maybe he's got some filters in here that are kind of filtering out the bad ones. I don't know. But most of these are pretty like come back and keep doing stuff. Which is not, I think, the answer. I think the answer is, if this is a good video, he'll say, I fucked up everything. I'm sorry. I'm not in a position to be a public figure in this anymore. I'm going to go work on myself. And then we would hear about him in 15 years in some monastery or something, or maybe raising a family. And his great reward will have never been in public prominence again. And he'll find meaning through that or whatever. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think a guy like this who would become so spotlighted by Catholics online for being their champion or whatever, It's once you get the taste of it, Otto Habsburg, the last crown prince of Austro-Hungary, who was born, just a few years before the war ended. He continued to be involved in politics for most of his life, despite multiple controversies, whatever you think they were good or not. And, people in the family and everything, they always asked like why he never retired from politics. And he said that once you taste the opium of politics, you can't get rid of it. And I think that's kind of like how this internet stuff is. And you'd think that rule wouldn't apply to something that's supposed to be transcendent or maybe a higher standard like the Religidome, like talking about theology, but it's just not. And that's always been my argument, that this is a YouTube drama sector like any other, just with a little bit different trapping.
Hello.
I love cookies.
This is the first video that I am recording
Okay. How many takes? Do you think this is really the first take?
Actually, my first time in front of a camera in 1 month.
Whoa.
And
Whoa. That's the real road to Canosa, guys. The 1 month of not making videos.
as many of you know, last month on July 13th, there was some very sensitive and very serious information that was being circulated on social media about me, which included very serious allegations that were made against me. And I want to address it for the first time in a video for all of you. Before I do, though, I just quickly want to thank everyone that has reached out to me in the last month. Many of you have reached out to me privately to express not only your love and support, your concern,
VOR Patriots, stand back and stand by.
but also letting me know that you are praying for me and letting me know how much the work that we've done here in this ministry has helped you. And I just want to thank all of you.
You are not a priest.
Reach out to me to just check on me, to make sure that I'm okay. That really means a lot to me. I know I wasn't able to get back to everybody, but I want everybody to know that.
But don't worry, I got back to all the girls, I promise.
Bottom of my heart, I appreciate you and I'm so grateful to everyone. But we have to address the allegations, because there were very serious allegations that were made against me last month. And first and foremost, I need to address the most serious of these allegations, which is that 10 years ago when I would have been 20 years old when this was alleged to have occurred, that I was involved in a inappropriate sexual relationship with someone who was underage.
Okay, let's be clear here. Here's the exact allegation, is that there was a 16-year-old, when he was 20, there was a 16-year-old that he was sending sexual text messages to. And then the clarification was that, according to her, verified through an independent source, they did not have sex or do anything actually sexual physically until she was 18. Here's the problem. How are you going to deny the messages? They're there. Your face is in them. Your wingus isn't, like how are you going to deny the voice record, like the voice memo where you talk about the cookie, like that was when she was 16. Obviously that's not up to the level of like actually doing but it's still bad. It's still like unacceptable. I don't know how he's going to cope for that. He is doing what I said though, focusing on the most extreme claim, which is like the classic, textbook strategy here.
And I want to immediately just come out and let everybody know that this is not true. This is false. And the reason that I actually have been silent this month, for an entire month, is because of the serious nature of that allegation, because I am being accused of something criminal.
No, you're not. Maybe messages like that to a minor should be criminal. And there is technically, so to federal law, there is technically some stuff around speaking sexually to minors. I forget it's like inducement or something. I don't think any of those fall, like the messages were bad. They probably should be illegal, but I don't think they fell under that. The reason why he's saying this is he's trying to explain the month-long code. Obviously, like, this is what you do. You go to law enforcement about this thing from 10 years ago, which, like, the evidence, like, you're never going to get the girl to testify in court. It's unprosecutable is what I'm saying. You go and then you go through the process where they make a report and then nothing happens because, again, it's unprosecutable. That way you can come out here and say, I've been fully cleared of any wrongdoing, which is not what not getting charged with something means. Not getting charged with something means that we can't, it would be per se defamation to call you like a groomer or whatever, which I'm not calling him, but because it hasn't been proven in either a civil or a criminal court of law. But that doesn't, like... You are fighting in the court of public opinion, which is why he did this, because it's just something he can throw on the pile here to say that I've been investigated and fully cleared of cookie eating.
To get law enforcement involved, we had to get lawyers involved, and even though I wanted to make this video a lot sooner, my legal counsel advised me to not say anything just yet while everything was getting worked out. But I just want everybody to know that this very serious allegation is false. It's not true, and I want to apologize to everybody that for the last month.
How? Okay, so then what does that mean? The allegation that you quite literally had physical relations with a minor, that was never the allegation. The allegation is the messages, which exist. Are you denying that the messages are real? Are you saying that they're some kind of Worski Snapchat tier deep fake? Is that the argument? Because I don't think the cops looked into that. The cops literally looked into just the elements of what you could possibly be charged with, which is probably physical relations or inducement. the reason why I said that what he did does not fall under the laws that do exist about talking sexually with minors is because it requires like a plan to meet up. It requires like trying to get them to do something, which, as gross as those messages were, that's not really what they were. It was just weird, like phone sex essentially. And I think he got his rocks off and then just, went along his merry way. But just be careful of the elision here, because what he is saying is, they did not charge me with this quote vague allegation that had to do with a minor. Like, it's
has been so scandalized by it and has been so upset because of it. And I know that there are many people that have had a very hard time because of this. But I just want everybody to know it's not true, and we are still in the middle of a legal process, taking legal action to be able to legally clear my name, so that everybody can know that this action.
And what would that action be? Are you going to sue someone for defamation? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Because that's the only way you would get a court ruling that says I am not voice of gooning, which you're not going to get, by the way. Like, who are you going to sue? You're going to sue the guy on Twitter who, like, through his independent sources and through talking to the girl, like, made the allegation? Because you'd lose that. Guarantee you'd lose that. I mean, unless you can find some malice and stuff from that, like, it'd be hard. I guess it's possible, but you'll probably lose that. Is it from not getting charged? Because again, not getting charged, like, the presumption of innocence cuts both ways. Like, yes, you could, if people start going around calling you, like, per se defamation, like a pedophile or whatever, like, of course that's not true. Like, you have the presumption of innocence there. But in the court of public opinion here, the messages do exist. We've heard them. We've heard the cookie messages. The only way out is for you to prove they're fake somehow, and I don't think you're going to do that.
Accusation is false. But that wasn't the only thing that I was accused of. Because
I saw a message here where it's like, good to hear that shit is not true. Like, proof. Trust me, bro. Like, where is it? I saw one where a guy was like, it's good to hear the worst stuff isn't true. Mormon Shaggy fled California. I heard about that. I heard that he fled California. I don't know if he's going to find anything better in Las Vegas.
Because last month, along with that false accusation, there was information that had been leaked that was also circulating of private messages between me and a few different women that were
say it.
That were of a sexual nature.
There we go.
And I want everyone to know, because of what I was seeing online, there are so many people that thought that those messages were messages that were to a minor, and that's false. Those messages were not to.
Okay. There are two sets of messages, and they were very clear in the post about which are which. The messages where he talks about sniffing whatever, that was with overage. But there are messages where you, in the messages, talk about her age. You specifically say that, like, you just want to be friendly, but then you're also flirting. And then there's the voice recording.
Minor, these messages.
I think the voice recording was not to the minor, but the point is, just the messages that in the messages themselves refer to the person you're talking to are themselves, like, discrediting, okay?
Were to women, grown adult women of age. But even though that isn't anything that is illegal or criminal, it's still something that needs to be addressed, because as the public saw, I, on multiple occasions, fell into sin and gave in to the desires of my flesh. And I regret to say that that is indeed true. I did fall into the sin of lust, and I really regret to say that in these moments of weakness, I led others into sin.
There we go. I'm glad he says that, at least.
And of course, that's wrong. Of course, that is repulsive. And it's something that I am guilty of. And I want to take the time to not only apologize to all of these women that
I'm glad he directly said that. That statement alone puts this above the average YouTube apology. The stuff about him attacking, like, I guess he has to say that. The problem is there's a very specific piece of evidence, and it's either real or it's not. And if you're going to try to disprove the minor stuff, you have to attack that piece of evidence, and he just doesn't do that here. Also, the threats about I'm going to prove it in court, that smacks of threatening a lawsuit. But this part right here is the good part.
fell into sin with, that I led into sin, who saw those messages and were rightly disgusted by them because they were disgusting. I want to apologize for the scandal. I want to apologize for all of the hurt that I've caused, because I have caused a lot of hurt. Simply because I fell in moments of weakness. I did hurt many people. And that is something that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life.
Offline.
I'm going to have to spend the rest of my life in prayer and in penance.
Yes, do it offline.
To make reparation for all of the damage that I've caused, because I've caused.
This is the next part. What's the plan forward? Because if he makes this part, that's a good apology, this section of it at least, and then says, I'll see you next Sunday for the next video.
A lot of damage. And I want to apologize to all of the women that I think it's fair to say that women that I was being dishonest with, women that I was using for my gratification, for my ego. I need to apologize to all of you. And again, apologize to everyone that has been scandalized by all of this. Because God blessed me with an opportunity to do a lot of good. And even though by His grace and with His help we have done a lot of good, I've also misused the gifts that He gave me. And I've misused the platform that He allowed me to have.
Yes. Good. So the conclusion is go offline, right?
I misused it, again, to gratify the desires of the flesh. And I'm sorry. There are many people that I need to apologize to for betraying their trust, by not being honest. Because something that I've now learned is that there is no such thing really as private sin.
Well, there isn't when you're, one of the biggest Catholic YouTubers, right?
Like
I mean, I guess in a
all
theological sense, that's true. There is no, whatever. But my point is, stuff like this would always come out eventually.
To light. And that has been shown, that has been exemplified through the situation with me. But I want everybody to know that I have to take full accountability for it. I can't run away from it. I have to be honest with all of you. And I need to, again, personally apologize to many people that have been hurt by this in my own life, in my personal life. My family and my loved ones have been hurt by this. My closest friends have been hurt by this. Spiritual elders of mine, who I love and I respect, have been hurt by this. The church has been scandalized by this. And it's all my fault, and I need to say that I'm sorry. I need to apologize to my bishop. I need to apologize to my spiritual father, my parish priest. I need to apologize to everyone in my parish community that was hurt and scandalized by this. I need to apologize to all of you. I need to apologize to my family, because I've brought shame upon myself and upon my name, my family's name. I need to apologize to my best friend, because I hurt him. He suffered a lot because of his association with me. And I need everybody to know that my producer, he had no idea about what was going on.
Okay. I mean, this is all good. This is exactly what I would want. This is definitely a high. Who's the psychologist that rates YouTuber apologies? Someone send this to him, because this is like an A. The first 3 minutes are sus. When he, I mean, he has to deny that claim, but when it's all based off of like a discrete set of messages, a discrete piece of evidence, and he has no way to attack it, that's sus. But everything since then, everything since like 4 minutes, this has been kind of like exactly what you want to hear. Now, he could still drop the ball here at the end if he says, I'm gonna take a short break and then I'll be back and we're gonna save the West, everybody, or whatever. Like, this video should literally end with him being, this is gonna be the last video on this channel. Okay?
He didn't know about any of this. He didn't know. My parish priest, he did not know. My bishop, he did not know. The people who were closest to me, they did not know, because I was keeping my sins in the dark. But like I said, like the Lord tells us, all things will be brought to the light. And I just want to say that I give thanks to God in all things, even though this has been
Some correction
the most difficult
here,
thing that I've ever had to endure in my life. I thank God no matter what, because I know that God is going to bring something really good out of all of this. And that's what I want everyone else, my audience.
Please don't use this to justify staying online. Please, dude. He's getting close to dropping the ball here. The good thing that God's going to create out of this is you dedicating your life to, like, you know, virtue offline, and then creating like a real community offline.
Even if you feel like you can't support me anymore, if you feel like you have to walk away, I understand, I totally get it. But I just want everyone to at least know that no matter how deep we are in our sin, no matter how broken we are, no matter how fallen we are, no matter the extent of our misery, God can use those things to bring something good out of them. God can turn those things into something that gives glory to Him. And all that I can do now is offer the situation to God and ask Him to take this, put the situation at the foot of the cross, ask for His mercy, for His grace, and ask Him for healing, not only for myself, but for everyone that I've hurt. And I want to let everybody know that during this past month, even though my audience hasn't heard from me, doesn't know what's going on, I want everybody to know that during this past month, I've grown a lot, I've learned a lot.
Oh my God, I've learned and grown. Please, you got to keep that. How is there not an entire cottage industry of YouTube apology writers who know never to put that in there because it's become such a meme?
I've made a lot of really important changes in my life, changes that I should have made a long time ago. Because through God's grace and through the help and the support of my loved ones, my family, I am now on the path that I should have been on, that we're all supposed to be on the right path, on the path of virtue.
Yeah, but prove it. Like, okay.
Back in November of last year, I was advised by my spiritual father to seek counseling, to go to therapy. And
oh boy.
And I didn't listen to him because so busy, so many things happening for us, so much traveling, so many things going on.
The video needed to end about 30
off.
seconds ago, and maybe add one line where it's like, you know, I'm entering the next part of my spiritual journey, and it's gonna be offline, guys. I'm not gonna monetize. Like, I'm not gonna turn this into a spectacle. If you hear from me, it's not gonna be for years, and it'll probably be that I'm local, you know, active in my local community or something. Goodbye.
Because deep down, I didn't want to go to therapy. I didn't want to have to face my ugliness, my trauma, things that happened to me when I was a child. I didn't want to face those things. And I didn't listen to him. And I should have. But now, with God's grace, immediately after this situation happened, when all of these things came to light, everything stopped for me. The ministry stopped. Obviously, not doing any filming, not traveling, staying put. My life changed completely in about 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I have now been going to therapy every single week.
Well,
to finally deal with the things that I should have dealt with a long time ago.
I mean, isn't the church supposed to be your therapy? Like, you go and do whatever. The priest told him to do it, then go off. But
and I'll continue to go for as long as I need to. I thank God for this, because
what I did,
everything slowed down.
The start of a new series. That's what I'm worried about, man. I'm worried he's gonna say at the end of this, it's like, you know, I'm gonna redirect all my content now to being about how, like, basically monetizing his redemption arc. You know what I mean? I'm I'm worried about that. I'm worried that that's what this is going to be, is I'm going to monetize the redemption arc.
Out, everything stopped for me. And by His grace, I've been able to finally go back to cultivate the prayer life that I used to have. The prayer life that fell by the wayside. And I'm so thankful that through His grace and through His mercy, I now once again have the robust prayer life that we all should have.
What do you mean you now? It's been a month. It's been a month. Like, if this guy really wanted to prove that point, like I said, we wouldn't hear about him for 10 years. And then it will have turned out that he lived like a monastic life for 2 of them, and then raised a family and was like local in his, like active in his local community for the other 8. And then you can come and talk to me about, like, you know, I'm not saying you have to go to Mount Athos or anything, but like that would be how do you prove that point, man?
I'm staying close to my loved ones, to my friends, to people that care about me, people that are holding me accountable.
I've restricted myself from gooning for a month. Anyway, guys, next videos.
And I'm taking all of the necessary steps to be able to move forward in however it is that God wants me to move forward. And I don't know yet what that's going to look like. I don't know what the future holds for me. All I know is that God has already brought so much good out of this.
For you.
You know, one of my favorite prayers that I pray every single day is called the Litany of Humility. And in that prayer...
Okay, but you can't brag about saying the Litany of Humility. It's a contradiction. If it's about humility, you should never tell anyone. It should be in your heart of hearts between you and God, because that's humility. You can't brag about how humble you are. But it's falling apart. The wheels are coming off the train. I'll say from like the end of the saying that all the group, like the sexual messages with the 16-year-old are fake without providing any evidence. From here, from like around 4 minutes to like here, this is good. This is like A tier YouTube apology. But the wheels have come off the train now, and we are now bragging about our humility.
Something that I've been reflecting on this entire month is that in that prayer, in the Litany of Humility, part of the prayer is to ask our Lord Jesus Christ to free you from fear. Specifically, to free you from the fear of being ridiculed.
Where are we going with this?
From the fear of being...
You should be ridiculed. That's the defense mechanism, like socially, that we have against behavior like this.
Calumniated. From the fear of suffering rebukes. From the fear of being humiliated. And over the last month, I've been humiliated. But every time that I prayed that prayer, I realized this is what I've been praying for. I've been asking God to free me from the fear of being humiliated.
This is why you don't say this. This is why, like, if you are seriously doing this sort of prayer of humility, you never mention it. Because by mentioning it in this way, by saying this, you are now saying, that's how virtuous I am. Is that I want to be humiliated for my sins. Aren't I a good guy? It's like, Jesus. It's like I'm being whipped. The slings and arrows. Like, this is why you don't publicly say that. Like, of course you should pray for humility and stuff. It's a virtue, but you should never. This comes across as bragging about it. It's like, look how like meta I am, you know.
And I've been humiliated. I've suffered calumny. I've suffered rebukes. I've suffered, but I give all thanks to God that I'm not afraid.
Bro, you disappeared for a month. You were afraid. And I know he says earlier that it was for legal reasons, but I already had issues with all that, because that smacks of threatening a lawsuit.
Afraid. Even if you have messed up, don't be afraid. Hold yourself accountable. Ask our Lord Jesus Christ.
Okay, so he's already thinks he's past past the veil. So we went from defense to what I feel like there was like 10 minutes there that was like a genuine apology to, well, now that that's over with, let me teach you how you guys can be as good as I am at apologizing. in the same video. It's like, yeah, if you're ever in a situation like me where you're like a prominent YouTuber and you're sexting everything with two legs and a slant, like, this is how you deal with it, man. You do this thing called humility, bro. It's like, this should not have been in the video. All of this should not have been in here. It's like he thinks, okay, I've done the penance. Now I can turn this into a learning opportunity for everybody else. Let me teach you a lesson, guys.
Christ to forgive you. Because he will forgive you. And pray every day that he be able to fix the messes in your life, because that's what I've had to do every day. I've had to ask God to fix the mess that I've created in my life.
It's not fixed. Not yet.
And the last thing that I want to do is, there's a prayer that I've been praying every single day that I want to pray right now, so that everyone who's watching, who's listening, can pray along as well. This has been the prayer that has helped me the most. And I'd like to share this prayer with you all. It's called the surrender prayer. So I would like to leave you all with this. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God, my Father, I thank you for all that you are and all that you do for me through your Son, Jesus Christ. I praise you for my life, for your mercy, and for your Eucharist. In Jesus' name, Father, I place myself entirely in your heart. I surrender to you my whole self, my heart, my mind, my memory, my imagination, my will, my emotions, my passions, my body, my sexuality, my desire for human approval, my weaknesses, my desires, my sins. I surrender every person in my life to you. I surrender every situation in my life to you. I surrender every relationship I am in to you. I surrender every concern I have to you. I surrender every fear I have to you. I surrender every doubt I have to you. I surrender all confusion I have to you. I surrender all sadness I am experiencing in my heart to you. I surrender all my wounds to you. I surrender all anxiety and worry I have to you. I surrender all that deceives me in my heart to you. I trust you to care for me and others in a perfectly loving way. As I have emptied myself and surrendered everything to you, I ask you now, Father, to fill me with your Holy Spirit and all the gifts and fruits of your Spirit. Holy Spirit, you are the source of love, hope, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, tenderness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. Purify my desires. Help me to open my heart to you. Help me to become perfectly receptive as a pure child. Help me to believe in your love for me. Help me to hope in your love. Help me to receive from the most sacred heart of Jesus all grace and virtues necessary for me to become the person that you created me to be. I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, God Almighty, Father. O most Immaculate Virgin Mary, I entrust this prayer to your heart and ask you to press it to your wounded heart and intercede for me to your Son Jesus. Please help me be as you are, a perfect disciple, an obedient servant, a true child of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your prayers. And thank you all for your support. Pray for me. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. God bless you all.
Well, he dropped the ball there at the end there. Like there's a good 10 minutes that I think is actually, if it was just this, like from 5 minutes or so to like 12, this would be an A. Because he says, I hurt people, it's my fault, I did it, etc. Like what you should be saying. But the first part where he threatens lawsuits and then says, it's proof I didn't do it because I didn't get charged. Really bad argument. And then the end, where he's like, guys, I'm humble. And because I prayed this specific humble prayer, and I'm totally not bragging about it at all. Like, totally dropped the ball there. Like, what the hell? I hope that people are criticizing this. And not only that, but there was no announcement. He said, I don't know what the future is. Wrong answer. I guess it's not as bad as directly saying, like, he kind of alludes to it when he says good will come of this. That makes me feel like he's promising more videos and he's going to monetize the redemption arc. But there needed to be, like, just a clear, I'm offline, like, clearly this public platform I've used for harm. He literally apologized for that, which was a good acknowledgement. And so this is not, like, the path for me. I'm going to be offline from now on. And Godspeed to people who take my place, but I need to focus on my own salvation. Like, that should have been the end of the video, and it should have been, like, right around here. And then, boom, it's over. And, yeah, I don't know. I see, like, a lot of people I in times like this, does it show how much more sincere are things like, yeah, I mean, Sam, I still say Sam is kind of a lolcow, but he's definitely a lot more sincere. And it does come across less planned and stuff. And it's like actual vulnerability. As much as like gay as it sounds, and of course, like it's the internet, people are gonna make fun of you for that. I get it. I wouldn't say it's smart for him to do that, but it does show like actual vulnerability. Whereas this feels like he's about to monetize the redemption arc, and I around here I was starting to think, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like maybe this guy will do like we won't see him back in 6 months, but now I'm pretty sure we will. And I hope other people are calling this out. I know Wagner's live right now. I wonder what he's saying. With avoiding Babylon. The problem is like, especially like the Christian community online, they're just too naive. I hate to say it because they do get into these slap fights and stuff, but they are a little naive, especially when it comes to like fellow Christians. And it's because they're trying to be Christ-like. I get it, but it's a cutthroat sector, man, and you're gonna end up getting hit if you don't. I don't think there's any coming. Yes, thank you. But there's no way this can be brushed aside and people act like nothing happened. About his parish priest not knowing. That's a question. Does that mean he didn't confess? How would he not know? I'm glad that this this comment section appears to be a little more, I don't know, maybe negative is not the right word.
They're either harsher, a little bit more laxer stances. I think that's a totally good question that we can have. Then there's the subjective question of when we can see that a timeline is so quick to be evident of some sort of bad dispositions. So if he's coming back in, let's say, 2 months, I think everybody kind of recognizes that that's not good.
Okay, see, this is what I'm saying. I'm afraid that even these guys are going to be too moderate on this because my position is he's not coming back. Everything should be offline from now on. He needs to do this all offline. That should be the last video he ever makes as a public spokesman for any of this. But I'm afraid that they're going to say, well, yeah, it can't be too quick. And then we're getting into the 6-month prediction I made.
Good. And that's not sort of like a good faith sort of difference, sort of agree to disagree type situation if somebody's coming back so quickly. So if he's coming back in 5 years, that's disagree. We just disagree. He thinks that it's fine to do that. I don't think it's fine.
Oh no. Okay, so Wagner's staying on principle here. He's saying that even 5 years is not good enough. Okay.
We just disagree, and I do not doubt that he could be in good faith and hold that position. Like 2-3 months, quick sort of entrance back into the sphere. I don't think that
the sphere. The sphere. Okay, we do need a name for it, don't we? Like, I still like Religion Dome, at least for now. That's the until one of these prominent guys, kind of like how Ralph declared the sector. It's going to be the Religion Dome for me, but
acceptable. I think that's a definitely sign of a lack of understanding of how damaging this sort of behavior is to somebody in the public sphere. So I think we need to keep that clear.
Bobby, I'm going to get to your comment, but it's so similar to my thoughts that I want to wait until I play the video clip. So Bobby had a good comment, but
the sphere, yeah, I guess that's candidate now. The sphere. See, the sector was so perfect from Ralph because without it's like I said earlier about Ralph, where he's kind of like Kanye, where it's like all of his sector stuff, like all of his internet. I don't want to say wisdom, but instincts are so subconscious. Like he can't explain it. But so the sector was perfect because it's like a war zone. The sphere, though, I don't know.
I want to play the video clip. Let's do that. Let's actually. I want to play. I have 2 clips I want to play. The first one. Let me just get it ready here. You guys know me. I'm not Rob. So all right, let's play this first one. Let me see what your thoughts are on this part.
And I need everybody to know that my producer, he had no idea.
I'm trying to see what they think about the end of it. I'm glad that I happened to just click to the part where Ragnar says you shouldn't even come back in 5 years. I'm glad there's someone saying that actually people listen to. Because I just worry about how naive some of the sphere is. The religious sphere. Seek attention. Yeah, sorry. Here, I'll keep this playing.
About what was going on. He didn't know about any of this. He didn't know.
Of damage to somebody. It's not the fact that we don't like Alex or that we despise Alex or anything like that, that we're taking this more objective approach. It's the fact that actually this is exactly what needs to happen. And it's unfortunate that there hasn't been this perspective from more people.
Yeah, the people that love him. I made this point in our first conversation. Like, the people that love him should be the first ones telling him you don't belong doing this. Like, for the good of you. I feel like I'm the only, like, I don't want to say me, but whatever. I feel like we were the only ones.
No, I was here, and it was by no theological virtue of my own. It's because this is nothing more than a drama sector, and that would be the position in that.
We came out and talked about this. Everybody scenes, but it's the public spotlight itself.
You know, if Asmongold's going to watch me, these guys should too. They'll get the Religidome drama takes,
right? So I still don't think he's on guard because he's fighting to get back to, like, hold on, he's not actually addressing what he's being accused of. He's just addressing the minor accusation, and you know,
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. I think that maybe these are the only guys who are saying this guy needs to just get out. And it just, at least so far, I mean, it's kind of a new video, but if people are preparing the way for his return, and I'm going to stick to the 6 months prediction. I think it might be even quicker than that for the next video, but like he'll be back in full swing in like 6 months, it looks like. And I don't think anyone's going to really stand in his way. I mean, these guys might criticize him for it, but they were never really in. You know, the criticism has always been that VOR and those guys are like Catholic Inc. or whatever, and that these guys are more dissident. Dissident's not the right word because they're all in communion, right? But they're more critical, I guess, or whatever. But I don't think anyone in Catholic Inc. is going to stand in the way. Why are we talking about the N-word?
A lot better about saying the N-word. I'm friends with a lot of black people now. It's like there's a sort of script that often gets followed, but we also have to remember is like, what else are you supposed to say? Like, are you supposed to say like, you know, I said it, I'm really...
Well, the middle part, I think he actually kind of did better than the standard script. Like I said, it's just that once you start getting into, okay, well, now that I've done that, let me lecture you about humility. It's like, come on, man. So these guys even watch it all, or do they just watch the one part? What a stupid stream. I don't know. I haven't seen it all. Maybe I'm wrong. But like, you guys didn't even go over it. You just watched the one part where he claims that nobody knew, and you didn't watch the end part where he starts telling you what prayer to say when you're in his position of being a prominent YouTuber is accused of sexual misconduct. All right, well, the Muhammad Hijab stuff is continuing. We have further grave dancing by David Wood. So Muhammad Hijab he tried to sue I think Daily Mail, one of these British rags, journalist, for writing an article. Obviously it was like a pro-Jewish article. They all are. That's the problem, is so many of the like the few institutions that will criticize Islam in the West, they're all just like Israeli rags. But despite that, like what they say can be true. And one of them was criticizing Muhammad Hijab a few years ago for leading basically, like the British people themselves, the Anglo-Saxons, they have no like actual stake or say in their own government. It's basically just an ethnic war zone between Hindus and Muslims. That's why you get like Rishi Sunak, who's a Hindu, and then you had Sadiq Khan, who's a Muslim. And so it's sort of like how, like, as Rome fell, it was all these Germanic tribes fighting amongst each other for the ruins, while the Roman people themselves are just kind of on the sidelines having to deal with whoever ruled. That's basically what the UK is. It's completely fallen society. It's just Hindus versus Muslims fighting over the scraps that are left. And so this guy reported on Muhammad Hijab leading his like Muslim gang to fight Hindu gangs. And Muhammad Hijab took offense to this, which I'm not sure why, considering that activity would be virtuous in Islam. And he tried to sue them for defamation and lost, which is funny because defamation is a lot easier to win in the UK than almost anywhere else. It's weaponized all the time. You see it with celebrities, like even ones who are dead to rights will sue defamation and win. But Muhammad Hijab lost, and here's some grave dancing by David Wood.
£670,000.
He's
That's not
broke!
the weight of his ego, it's what he has to pay for his bogus defamation lawsuit. It's the cost of his ego. £670,000. That is a lot of Dawa donations going straight into the pocket of Douglas Murray. If you're a Muhammad Hijab fan, you might as well start paying your zakat directly to Douglas Murray, because that's where your money's going for a long, long time. What can I possibly say about Muhammad Hijab that hasn't already been said about the Hindenburg? At least the Hindenburg
This is so shitposty.
didn't try to take down a bunch of its fellow Zeppelins when it went down in flames. Muhammad Hijab, by contrast, wants everyone to know that if his Dawa career is over, he's taking the whole Dawa circus down with him. So, why the total implosion? And why now? And what can we learn from this Dawa dumpster fire that never gets put out because of the endless careers that keep it burning? We're about to find out. But
David Wood does got some Ralph in him a little bit. Like, it's weird to say because it's like Ralph is Ralph, like multiple baby mamas, total white trash, and David Wood doesn't quite come. Oh well, David Wood is a felon, right? He went to jail. Huh. Maybe there's more to this comparison than I initially realized.
But first, let's make sure everyone's up to date. Just a few months ago, Muhammad Hijab was exposed for his now infamous hotel wife scandal. We eventually found out that Hijab had a team of 75 Dawagandists conspiring to destroy a woman's life, all because she wanted to warn other Muslim women about how the Dawa Diddy gangs are treating Muslim women behind the scenes. The truth came out, and the credibility of dozens of Hijab's allies has been shattered. As if that weren't bad enough for Team Dawa, we now have Douglas Murray bragging about his victory over Muhammad Hijab. Yes, after being thoroughly humiliated by a woman, Hijab has been humiliated again, this time by a gay man half his size.
How can you say this isn't just drama? Like, come on.
Murray writes, 3 years ago, I wrote a column in this magazine about some of the downsides of diversity. At the time, there had just been serious disturbances in Leicester. Yes, Americans, it's pronounced Leicester. It's where John Merrick, a.k.a. the Elephant Man, was born. Between local Hindus and Muslims. One of the people who decided to throw himself into the middle of that trouble, hopefully not in the Al-Zut sense, and to try to make things worse, was an online pugilist known as Muhammad Hijab. Hijab had already been filmed intimidating Jews in Golden
This is what I mean, that this is all clearly like a Jewish thing. That's why they're attacking Muslims. It's just a shame because that's not the problem. I mean, I guess it's part of the problem. It's like a public order problem. I get that. But like the issue with Muslims and Hindus fighting in the streets is, like I said, because it's the sign that it's a completely collapsed public institution, that it's just two invaders who showed up last week fighting over the ruins. Like, and that's the victims of that are the indigenous people of Britain, like the Anglo-Saxons, not the Israeli embassy.
And whipping up a crowd of masked men outside the Israeli embassy in London. In Leicester, he chose to make a derogatory speech about Hindus to a crowd of men and then picture himself leading a Muslim patrol in the city. Say it ain't so, Muhammad Hijab. The Dawa champ wouldn't stir up hatred against Jews and Hindus, would he? And if he did, this big, strong Dawa Gandhist wouldn't run to British courts begging them to protect him from criticism like a sniveling little coward, would he? After I pointed this out, Hijab tried to sue me and The Spectator. I retained the excellent Mark Lewis as my lawyer, and for years, along with the magazine's brilliant legal team RPC, we watched Hijab perform every known legal and rhetorical contortion. Hijab's lawyers repeatedly dragged out their case, avoided every opportunity to drop it, and insisted not only that what I had written was untrue, but that Hijab had suffered serious emotional and mental distress. Poor guy seems really fragile. As well as...
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that before. Whenever you do lawsuits like this, you have to make yourself sound like a bitch to win. Which, of course, goes against his whole image. That's why, like, I don't really know what his goal with this lawsuit was. Does he need the money? I mean, he's got his, like, little sector of guys.
Financial loss as a result. Hijab seemed to think that he could use the courts, not just
and, like, leading the mob and fighting infidels. Isn't that, like, virtuous for him? Like, why even fight this?
Sue me, but to debate me. I have to say,
he doesn't monetize. That's not true. Doesn't he take super chats? I'm pretty sure Sam gets super chats, dude. Because that's how he, like, answers stuff. I mean, I agree he probably could monetize more, but he definitely is monetized. Like, he makes money.
I would have loved to see Douglas Murray debate Muhammad Hijab, but sadly, it won't happen because Hijab won't be facing any serious debaters after this train wreck. Last month, the case was heard in London before Mr. Justice Johnson. Many of Hijab's witnesses failed to show up, claiming ill health or having appeared to have skipped the country. Hijab himself spent several days
That's
in the
tough.
witness box. Why wouldn't many of Hijab's witnesses show up to testify for him last month? Because this was after the hotel wife scandal, and they realized Hijab just isn't worth defending. They don't want to get sucked into the black hole that this Dawa star has become. This week, the judge delivered his verdict. Mr. Justice Johnson found that what I had said in my article was accurate, that Hijab had hurt his own reputation more through his actions and social media posts than I could have ever done with my...
Well, no, his name isn't Hijab. That's the funny thing. It's like Hijab or something, but he goes by Hijab, I guess, to protect himself. The problem is you have to put your real name when you do a lol suit like this. So what was the point?
My article, and that the number of lies Hijab told in court were so numerous that his evidence overall is worthless. So what I've been saying for years now has the stamp of approval of a UK...
Hold on. Evidence overall, Hijab told his court were so new. Oh, see, this is the other reason you don't sue for defamation, because if you lose, if you're like a guy like Hijab, you could be, he is now like a court adjudicated giga liar. It means he's defamation proof. Essentially, that's what the ruling here is. It's more than just that he lost. It's that he's been like legally adjudicated to be defamation proof.
A judge. The judgment also noted that...
This is why I say, what was his outcome? Because like the claims that were made against him are virtuous to him, which is that he's leading like a barbarian mob through London to fight the other barbarian mob trying to claim the ruins of the imperial capital. And so why would he want that to be defamation, number one? And number two, it's just like you have a lot to lose and very little to gain.
As well as being combative and constantly argumentative when cross-examined by my barrister and the Spectator's barrister, Hijab also demonstrated a palpable personal animosity towards your columnist. To be fair, Hijab demonstrates a palpable personal animosity towards anyone who doesn't mindlessly agree with everything he says, because he's a narcissist. The judgment found that Hijab lied about events in Golders Green, which he refused to accept was a Jewish area. It found that he had lied
a Jewish area
about his demagogic and dangerous actions outside the Israeli embassy in London, that he had lied about events in Leicester, and that he had lied about, and indeed appeared to have concocted, his claim of lost earnings. These lost earnings were alleged to have come from 3 Muslim organizations, including a supplements company called Nature's Blends. All claimed to have been...
Speaking of which, warning, as funny as I think David is, and he's definitely good at sectorizing this whole theology stuff, he is like a giga Israel apologist. I don't know why. I don't think he's a dispensationalist. And that's the problem, is if you're a Christian, literally the only justification for supporting Israel is if you're a dispensationalist. If you're not a dispensationalist, then there's literally no reason why you should be pro-Israel. And I don't think he is. I don't know. At least he hasn't talked about it. And so, like, there's an ad halfway through this video about, like, why Christians should give up their last dollar to send food to Israel that already gets trillions of dollars.
And big readers.
The last, like, 40 years.
Of my Spectator column, as indeed, Hijab alleged, causing him yet more hurt, was a receptionist at his local gym. Maybe he wanted her as another hotel wife. Boss failed to attend court. Another, Mr. Wasway from Nature's Blends, had to try to explain his recent conviction and time spent in prison for making false court claims after staging car accidents. Yes, Hijab's star witness was a man who had been sent to prison for fraud. These guys are tactical geniuses. Douglas Murray's article...
Yeah, well, that's the problem when, like, because he's got his, like, little group that he was gonna, his gang that he was gonna come in and testify for him. The problem is, yeah, they're all discredited. They're all, like, impeached witnesses.
News, but I'd like to read a few hilarious excerpts from the judge's ruling right after a brief word about this video's sponsor.
No. This video's sponsor is why, as a Christian, you should not support Israel, because Israel, the actual real Israel, new Israel, was founded by Jesus Christ, and the church is the new Israel. And the state of Israel is nothing but a secular entity for a religion that was founded in response to Christianity. It's actually newer than Christianity. And so if you're a Christian, you literally have no reason to be loyal to either Israel or really any other religion. It's not just the Jews, obviously. The only good reason that you would ever want to support Israel is if you have a security reason for wanting to support Israel. And if you're American, there is no security justification for the support of Israel. That's who's sponsoring this part of the video.
Get a discount and to let them know who sent you. Now, back to our good friend Mohammed Hijab and the impression he made in court. From the judge's ruling, as a witness, he, Mohammed Hijab...
Well, that's what I mean, Gabon. Like, I don't think he's a dispensationalist. I don't think he thinks that the Jews have dispensation, which makes me wonder why he's pro-Israel. Because if you take the religious aspect out of it, the only thing left is security reasons, and there's no security justification from an American to support Israel. But, you know, I have like 10 hours on this channel about that because of the stupid Ethan Hassan Destiny shit.
Was combative and constantly argumentative. He sought, at every turn, to debate with counsel, responding to questions with rhetorical questions of his own, arguing his case rather than giving straightforward responses, and denigrating the character of the second defendant, to whom he bears palpable personal animosity. I am satisfied that he lied on significant issues, with the consequence that his evidence overall is worthless. Funny, that's exactly what we conclude
So,
whenever
yeah, he's a court-adjudicated liar whose evidence is worthless. That's why you don't do this.
we watch one of Hijab's Dawa videos. Specifically, I am satisfied that he lied in respect of the event at Golders Green, the counter-protest at the Rally for Israel, the seminar on Hinduism at the Sapiens Institute, his repudiation of vigilantism, his evidence as to the involvement of the Hindutva, his evidence about his choice of language in his speech, and his evidence in support of his claim for financial losses. I address each in turn. Evidence is untrue. The claimant denied that he was aware of the throwing of eggs and bottles. That denial is not credible. For attributing responsibility to the Hindutva does not, with claimant's rationalization, does not work.
So just everything's a lie, basically, is what this comes down to. Like, officially adjudicated. And he specifically goes to the article, what the article claimed, and says that everything that was claimed is true.
It's responsible for the article, which conveys the following meaning. The claimant is a street agitator who has whipped up a mob on London's streets, addressed an anti-Israel protest in inflammatory terms, and exacerbated frayed tensions, which had already spilled over into public disorder between Muslim and Hindu communities in Leicester by whipping up his Muslim followers, including by ridiculing Hindus for their belief in reincarnation,
Based.
and describing Hindus as pathetic, weak, and cowardly, in comparison to whom he would rather be an animal.
See, here's the thing. He could have just said all this, but you don't. But then you sue the guy for saying it. Like, how is this not... If I was Hijab, I'd be like, yeah, I did say that because I'm, Muslim and fuck infidels. Like, why didn't he just take that position?
That meaning is a statement of fact, which is defamatory. It is substantially true. Hijab reclined in his chair and licked the sugar from his finger.
Okay, this is
Some
funny.
people in court. Mohammed Hijab sat at the back of the courtroom and ate donuts. Lay off the donuts, Hijab. While
He's
his
fat. He eats donuts. He's drunk.
lawyer, Mark Henderson, delivered his closing submission. You will have seen that my client is argumentative, can be provocative, said Henderson. Some people might think that he is a bit of a smart aleck, a bit too cocky. Hijab reclined in his chair and licked the sugar from his fingers. This was Hijab's lawyer calling him argumentative and provocative.
The most expensive donut ever eaten. The $600,000 donut.
And Hijab and his donut fingers did not disappoint. Hijab acted like a schoolboy throughout last month's 4-day trial at the Royal Courts of Justice. He laughed and shouted while giving evidence. It's an unsalvageable case, Greg. It really is, he yelled at the Spectator's legal counsel, Greg Callis, at the end of his second day in the stand, leaning over the side. I guess Hijab got one thing right. The case was unsalvageable, just not in the way Hijab thought. When Hijab was not shouting,
Why is he acting so based in the courtroom over this? Like, over this dumb case? If he was the one getting sued, this would be based behavior. But he's the one suing over something he should, if he really does believe what he, like his position, should be proud of saying. That's why this doesn't make any sense to me. What was the goal? What was the victory condition?
Falling in his chair or eating donuts, he looked at a printout of Douglas's column, the one he was suing over, with Douglas's caricature at the top. Hijab had been desperate to debate Douglas for years and had hoped that the two would meet in court. In the end, he didn't get the satisfaction because Douglas wisely decided not to attend. So, why is Hijab sinking like the Titanic after crashing into an iceberg named Douglas Murray? This is an example of an interesting problem faced by manipulators who get a huge following on social media. A manipulator is someone who gets what he wants in life by duping other people into doing what he wants for him. The Dawah scene is wide open for manipulators. All you have to do is convince the Ummah that you're the hero who's going to stop their children from becoming apostates, and they will give you anything you want. Attention, views, money, endless hotel wives, anything. But manipulators are affected, in turn, by the people they manipulate. A manipulator...
Hijab kind of is a alpha male, a bit. And I acknowledge that in the original Muhammad Hijab stream, especially like when he went on David Piers Morgan. But he's also like a degenerate Muslim scam artist. So I guess he is kind of like Ralph in that way, where, he's not a good person and you should never model any part of your life off of him. But he does provide entertainment. But so does David Wood. And David Wood's a psychopath. Self-described, right? Okay, so...
We'll try something.
It's just sort of like we win either way,
And see if it works. If it works, he'll do more of it. If it doesn't work, he'll try something else and see what happens. So, Hijab conditions his followers, but they condition him in return. Think about this. The manipulator trains people to do what he wants. But the people he's manipulating are constantly giving him information about what works. He reads them and adapts. So, they're affecting him and modifying his behavior over time. The result...
But it's just sort of perfect. It's why they're so perfect foils for each other, because it's clear that, Muhammad's got some kind of like personality disorder as well. But he's like, David's literally a psychopath. So like he sees all of his, like he sees him, he knows what he's doing.
The result is that he becomes more and more of whatever works with the crowd he's manipulating. So it's a kind of mutual manipulation. He's programming them to be what he wants, but they're programming him to be what they want. After years of this cycle, the manipulator behaves in a way that is most effective with his target audience. What's most effective with Hijab's target audience? Constantly lying and acting like a chest-thumping caveman. That's what works with the Dawa fans.
Based.
But then Hijab, after being thoroughly conditioned to think that constantly lying and acting like a chest-thumping caveman is what works, goes into a courtroom where that behavior doesn't work at all. In fact,
here's the angle I would take here, David, is he's a chest-thumping Giga Chad ape, right? And then he sues for defamation where he has to say that he's been emotionally harmed and he's a little baby. You know? That's again why I don't understand what his plan here was.
In a courtroom, the behavior that makes you a champion of Dawah makes you look like a lying, childish, condescending moron to everyone else. And it ends up costing you £670,000. Small price to pay for the valuable life lesson, though. So, this is what's going on in the Dawah world, not just with Mohammed Hijab, but with Dawah in general. The Dawagandists are focused on impressing their followers. But what's impressive to the Dawah fans is repulsive to everyone else. And that's why so many Dawah careers are crumbling.
Yeah, and I already have this street debate thing. Apparently there's some funny Ralph Amel moments in this from David Wood. But here we go. I did read this before, but it's pretty funny. I don't know, I don't know, but the English High Court fatwa against Mohammed Hijab, his real name. Thanks to Tuesday's High Court judgment, Mohammed Hijab has effectively become the most high-profile liar, claiming to advocate for Islamic traditionalism. He is matched in his notorious space only by the religiously dishonest David Hakikachu. Now, I am just now learning about this guy. There might be a full stream on Daniel Hakikachu. Apparently, he's got some Kino retard moments. I honestly thought that his name was fake because it sounds like Pikachu, but apparently this is his real name. Don't get me wrong, Douglas Murray is a ding-dong, a vile individual, the worst of the homo cons. But that's precisely why Hijab's gifting that swarmy Shabbos gay goy bragging rights in the current failed defamation case is a double insult to honest Muslims and all people of good. Is this guy Muslim? Oh, is this a Muslim turning on him? Oh, let's go. I am forced to qualify the Muslim label with an honest prefix, precisely because Hijab normalizes dishonesty. Bringing these braggadocious speaker's corner circus-style antics and buffoonery to a courtroom is one thing, but repeatedly lying under oath, presumably after swearing upon the Quran, is another. Can you really swear upon the... Fuck the UK, man. I'm going to Europe in September. I haven't got a return ticket yet because I'm just going to bum around for a while. But, you know, I lived in Europe for like 5 years or so, and a lot of that time was in the UK, and I just have no desire to go back. I don't know. There's some good places. There's some good stuff there, but it's just not worth it. It is like a post-national like economic zone. It's so fucked. I think this time I'm going to go to Spain, Barcelona, and Madrid, and then I want to go to Budapest. I'm trying to cajole some of my friends into making time for that. Unhinged narcissism and self-amazement can lead a man to pass off entirely self-serving anti-Islamic behavioral traits as praiseworthy, convincing himself and others that a vice like lying can actually be virtuous, again, provided it serves his interests. For when a man fails or refuses out of hubris to distinguish between, okay, so this is just sitting on him, gifting a genocide apologist, okay? So yeah, this guy's Muslim, and he's like, mashallah, brother. A fatwa from a non-Islamic judge. Well, that was clearly a joke. Formerly a defense solicitor for MI5 and UK. Yeah, he said fatwa because it's a legal ruling. Like, clearly that was like a joke. Modern Salafism has nothing to do with Salaf and everything to do with groveling sense of inferiority for the white man. Really, that's the angle we're going to take. Give my regards to Ukraine. This is a Ralph move, attacking the wife immediately. Very cool. Yes, a non-Islamic MI5 MOT cornerman judge who voluntarily... Yeah, well, that's the problem, is you submitted to their jurisprudence. And whose non-Islamic white man justice you were hoping to secure for your reparations. Yet somehow this makes you the truer follower of Salaf. Victimhood, rage baiting, yeah, okay. Ukrainian companion, so... And look at this, guys. He's drunk! He's fat! He's on the beach! Look, he's got brandy right here. Hijab is drunk. It's over. What is this?
Bans alcohol. You've done your PhD on alcohol, actually, your thesis. And obviously, Islam is one of the only religions in the world that bans alcohol completely and drugs and stuff. But going back to the point, like...
Yeah, that's tough.
Doing a Palestine demonstration. Very impressive. Huh? He's not taller than me. He's standing on his thing. I'm taller. Don't think, brother. It's good to see that this is happening even here. Very impressive. Very good. Yeah, it's like we don't hear what's going on in like southern Spain or southern Europe. Incident or like we were just having.
So yeah, it's tough. Apparently there's some, oh well, I guess he put out his own cope video here.
Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that whoever builds a mosque for Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. And we know the great reward that will not only be gained, but rather will fill your grave after your death. Whenever someone...
What does this have to do with you owing $500,000 to a gay Jew? How does owing $500,000 to a gay Jew help us reach Jah, Muhammad?
prays there, whenever someone gives shahada in the masjid, whenever someone learns something in the masjid. Yes, that will be something that you'll have on your scale.
The lion.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Well, by popular demand, Ahmed al-Basuni, a person who's to my left and who has contributed quite effectively, I think, in the last video about feminism, has come back to contribute again to these topics. How are you doing, Ahmed? You're starting to make a splash on the social media scene, are you?
Not bad.
Yeah, you're doing some training, are you? And you're doing some public talking and all these kind of things.
Dabbling in a few different things.
Why not? You know,
got to keep your options open.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, does he actually talk about it here? Or is this just...
Actually, speaking of dabbling
yeah,
in different
please,
things,
yeah.
have you?
What you want to say?
I think
what you want to say?
maybe we should.
What you want to say?
Maybe we should address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Obviously, there's been quite a bit of what some could consider controversy or a lot of talk about
the court ruling, the spectator court ruling.
That's right.
With Douglas Murray.
That's right. So I wanted to see, like, you know.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I didn't expect it to go that way. Number one, I was very disappointed, very disheartened with the ruling. However, when I researched the judge, with all due respect to him, you know,
here we go. Immediately. He's okay. He's going to say the judge is a Jewish plot. I guarantee it. And I guarantee he'll mention the judge's wife. That's a classic Sector Ralph type tactic.
Person who's represented, because obviously before judges do become judges, they have to become they're barristers usually before that, and he's represented the MI6, I believe it is. He's actually been part of an inquiry called the Swede inquiry about torturing Iraqi victims, and he rubbished the claims. I mean, he decided that there was no credible evidence, in his words, that any such torture was happening.
Yeah, so that's a totally different case with a totally different set of evidence and a totally different question. It has nothing to do with whether you led a mob in London.
I believe he's a neutral person,
is this?
And I believe his judgment was fraught with bias. And in fact, some of the things that he mentioned in the judgment, bro, was absolutely off topic. Like he would say, "Oh, Mohammed Hijab is a physically imposing person." Okay, something to that effect. He's physically imposing. Well,
but that's part of the element of intimidation, which was part of the. Why am I even engaging with this? This guy is just a liar. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, but I mean, what place does such a comment have in a legal judgment? You know, and
you sued Douglas Murray for defamation for a very specific line in his article, one that David Wood showed. And in that line that you said was untrue, part of the claim was that you were intimidating Jews and Hindus. So your physical presence and intimidation is an element, not the sole, not the exclusive element, but an element to that claim. It is not that complicated.
He'll make things like, you know, he's accusing me of lying in this instance, in that instance, in the other instance, when I was in this protest, when I was in Golders Green and stuff like that. And it is on issues which are interpretive. And he is, this, I would call this jurisprudential overreach. Okay.
What the fuck do you know about common law jurisprudence? Is it jurisprudence overreach when there's Sharia law zones in fucking Britain? Like, what the fuck?
Well, he's gone way further than what he should have gone. And I believe, honestly, bro, this is bias. And I think there's some kind of motivation, which I don't know what it is.
But what do you mean you don't? Just say it. He doesn't like Muslims. That's what the claim you're going to make. Just say it, bud.
We're going to have to find out. I'm obviously appealing the judgment. But I think that I made a mistake. And the mistake has been putting a bit too much trust in the justice systems.
No, your mistake was suing in the first place. Again, I don't even know what he was trying to accomplish because he was suing over claims that he did something he should, from his position, be proud of.
In the West. Now, we've had victories. I mean, you would have remembered this very year, we overturned a victory, a ban to 26 Schengen countries, etc., etc. We've had victories. We've even had settlements, which we can't even speak about here. Many, many settlements, which we can't.
I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you what they're for. I can't tell you how much, but there's been billions of them. Billions of settlements.
Even speak about, because a part of the clause is not to speak about it. But it comes with the territory.
But you just did.
You win.
You just. You're so stupid.
Some, you lose some. Yeah. You put yourself out there. You know, you go to court. You've got a person like Douglas Murray. He's vociferously an enemy of Islam, an enemy of the Palestinian people, someone who was sitting in Gaza, you know, when all this stuff was happening.
This isn't about Gaza, buddy. It's about you. You are the one who sued him. No one here is I'm not defending Israel or Gaza or a gay Jew. I just think you're an idiot.
Like given privileged access by Netanyahu and the IDF.
This is just like what Hassan does, where it's like the minute there's any criticism, he wraps himself in the blood of dead Palestinian children.
I'm sorry,
which for me kind of just tells you everything you need to know. To be honest with you.
Yeah, to be honest, and bro, look, the other side, they had one of the strongest law firms in the country, which get RPC, which get around I think 170 million pounds revenue a year. We were operating on a no-win, no-fee arrangement, and it is what it is. But that's not going to perturb us. In fact, in any event, if this happens again, we are now more quick.
Yes, they are mind cucked that they follow people like this, but this guy is so bad that even they're falling away from this guy. That was David Wood's point, is that even his the Dawa Diddy gang, as he calls it, are like, they didn't show up to his trial. They didn't show up to testify because they're like, fuck this guy.
Actually, we've come out with a lot more learning experience from this, to be honest. I have personally learned a lot more about UK law. It's the first time I was a witness, because that's what I was. I was a witness to this trial. It was the first time You
were the plaintiff, bud.
Put in that position. I didn't understand how to deal with it in the proper way, but now I have a lot more experience. It's a completely new forum. I mean, look, I've done many things in the last couple of years. I've done a professional MMA fight. I've done...
What does this have anything to do with this? You did so you fought some guy. Again, how does giving $500,000 to a gay Jew help us save Palestine?
Multiple debates, multiple podcasts, and I've been in the courtroom. So I cannot and I will not win everything. And that's just something that's part of life.
I think even if you look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad, that they were even not every
didn't he just say it is what it is?
It just goes to show that, as you mentioned, you win some, you lose some. And the lot are opportunities for growth and opportunities for learning.
It is. And this is now subhanAllah, the whole Dawah sector has learned from this. We have definitely
the whole Dawah sector. Wait, did he just say, hold on, hold the fuck on, everybody. I think we just got acknowledgement of what I've been trying to say for 3 months, which is that this is a sector. This is the sector, okay?
Opportunities for learning.
It is.
Where's
this
Ralph?
is now
Ralph now officially has to chime in on this. Because this guy's asserting himself in Ralph's territory. He's coming into Ralph's sector. He's saying the word sector. He's shitting all over it. He's paying gay Jews.
SubhanAllah, the whole Dawah sector has...
Send this to Ralph.
For growth and opportunities for learning.
It is. This is now SubhanAllah, the whole Dawah sector has learned from this. We have...
He's saying that he's the king of the Dawah sector. Is Ralph going to take that? That there's another king?
Looked at this case. We've looked at what we can and can't do in defamation. Bro, to be honest, last 2 years we're on this case. And if I'm being honest, I have learned so much about defamation. So much what is defamation? What is it? For some,
this is so bad. What even is defamation, bro?
To be defamatory, what does it have to be? So I realized that there's two elements to a normal defamation case. There's the defamatory element, which this judge, to his credit, although
no, I think Ralph would take Hijab's side because they have a lot of similarities. What I want to see is either a Hijab David Wood debate moderated by Ralph on the kill stream, where he just takes a bunch of pills and makes it based, or like I suggested, Thad versus Mel. Oh, here he is. He says it here.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. We'll go back to the thing that we normally frequently get to in Dawah, which is objective truth and subjective truth.
Absolutely.
And man-made law is
subjective.
Undoubtedly subjective. It's not.
Okay, so you don't have to follow the law. So then why did you sue for defamation under man's law? I'm just clicking at random timestamps and every line is retarded.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's what it is.
Right, let's see some. Let's see David Wood spurging out here. Sorry, that was loud.
How you doing? I got my buddy Sadiq who said something about my destiny. What's my destiny?
Okay, your destiny is to face the truth, the lie of Christianity,
the lie of Christianity. The lie of Christianity. Why do you have to start with that, man?
Wait a minute. The Christianity invented by you guys, not that which was brought by Jesus.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. Now, everyone, check this out. We got some awesome times right here.
The front line saving the West here, talking. Look at this guy. How could you look? There's nothing there. What have I said about the POV?
You guys will be able to hear us because we got this mic, so...
Hey, David.
We're all good.
Hey, we got Sadiq. We got Sadiq. Everyone, check this out. Check this out. This is awesome. We got Muhammad, everyone, right? Everyone heard of Muhammad? Look, Muhammad, his first impression of his revelations was that they were demonic.
You just call them white boys? Bro, you're looking white too.
He tried to hurl himself off a cliff. He became suicidal. That's the impression that his revelations had on him. It was his wife and her cousin who convinced him that he's actually a prophet. He admittedly delivered revelations from Satan. They're called the Satanic verses. called the Satanic Verses. He was a victim. He was a victim of black magic that gave him delusional thoughts and false beliefs.
Jesus got his butt.
This is you hear? We respect Jesus. We respect Jesus. We respect Jesus. Look how they respect Jesus. And you've got Muhammad, a man who had sex.
That is a good point. This guy's shitting on Jesus, but Muslims consider him a like you can't do that. That's kind of the bind they're in.
You mess a 9-year-old girl who took the wife. Who took the wife of his own adopted son?
This is so funny. He's just screaming, he's a pedophile, Muhammad's a pedophile.
His revelation said he could have 4 wives. He took 9. What is this hypocrite? We've got all these problems.
Now, in all the verses,
and the only thing he can say in his own defense to show that he's a prophet is that our scriptures confirm him. And then his followers attack the scriptures that confirm him. And then he died like a dog in exactly the way Allah said he would die if he's a false prophet. But we've got Sadiq Abdul Malik who's going to give us the reason.
So, like, you know, people say I'm crazy for saying that, like, David Wood and Hijab should go on Ralph. Not tonight, but I've heard other people say it. But this is literally just IPS. Like, this is this really too outside the realm of possibility? The problem is Ralph just needs to be drawn attention to this sector, and he needs to take a side. It doesn't matter what side. Let him go off. He'll have the right. So he'll intuitively know what the stupidest side to take is, or the most content-rich side.
Why we should believe in Muhammad?
What he said about the Prophet Muhammad in Najran, he gave all the details of what happened in Najran when they weren't there. Adding without a shadow of a doubt. Because that information about Najran is nowhere to be found in Islamic literature.
It's not adding to
Details like that. No answer at all.
No answer.
There you go.
We have to add to the Bible to try to claim that Jesus was killed, was defeated by the devil.
Let's do this.
But he's lying about what Matthew actually says. It never says that.
Listen.
Isn't this like elder abuse?
Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came.
So did he get the verse?
Me and we made that now.
You guys are done now?
Okay, they're triple T. This isn't fair. This is the one guy, and there's 3 of them.
Please, listen. What we're going to do now. We have top black people. What we're going to do now.
In the super chat, I'm not sending Ralph money.
Talk about what is most important.
Yeah, the Islamic dilemma.
Yep. We're going to talk about whether Muhammad is a true prophet.
If you wanted to do it, what you should do is you should make a super cut of some of like Muhammad Hijab spurging out in street debates, some of David Wood, and then David Wood eating the Quran, and then be like, you need to have these 2 guys on the stream to settle their beef.
And Sadiq is going to prove it for us because he's been doing this for years. So if anyone can show us that Muhammad is a true prophet and not a child molesting, murdering, rapist of a false prophet.
Hold on.
Show us that Muhammad is a true prophet and not a child molesting, murdering, rapist of a false prophet. He can do it.
I'm listening. How you see? Listen. I want you to look around you. I'm the only Muslim here.
That's right. Hey, give it up for him, y'all. He's the only Muslim.
Very brave.
Now listen. I'm this rice and bean eating Muslim that keeps it real.
That's right.
You heard?
Did you just say he's a rice and bean eating Muslim? How does that? That's not a very good response to your prophet is a rapist, pedophile, murderer. Like, it's kind of, you kind of have to slap back at that, dude.
Top Dawa leader gets.
Your book calls us the worst of creatures. Do we get to respond?
That they have toward you, then they ought to be put to the sword, summarily and killed. This is called tributaries.
Hey, one second. And if Sadiq thinks that's a problem, yes. One second. No, I'll be quick.
Speak and defend it. Now that's a whole complete.
I'm just pointing out. I'm assuming you want to be a good Muslim.
Am I right or wrong? Did Christianity rests its existence on the death and resurrection of Jesus? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's true.
Okay. Now I have a question. The Apostle Paul, in the book of the Apostle Paul. By the way, take a look at that. You see the light? Look at my face.
Yep.
This is called Noor. You're a white boy. I'm Puerto Rican.
Bro, you are clearly a castizo. Are we really making... He just gets off the religion and he just... Okay.
The light, that's called Noor. But anyway, so...
Is he saying that he has light on his face because... Okay.
You know who else was really white? Muhammad!
Yes, and
Yeah, as we learned last stream, if you call him black, you're like put to the sword or some shit.
Muhammad had a son who he married into his family and became the general of his armies, and the descendants became the general of his armies.
Which
Don't
son?
ever talk. Wait a minute.
Which
Do
son?
not ever talk.
What's
to
his
me.
son?
His adopted.
Yeah. Wait. Is this guy Shia?
Now do not
His
ever talk
adopted
to
son.
me.
Whoa! The son he took his wife from?
Let me tell you something.
He's talking about his son.
Let me tell you-
It's not his son. Allah abolished adoption so that he could bang his adopted son's wife.
Oh
Very nice.
no. Yeah, I mean, I know why David posted this. This is pretty bad.
Where you're legitimate, then you got to shut your mouth. You're legitimate.
Sacrifices.
You can talk about that the Quran it for what it's.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying there could be a good screaming match here. It's in the cards. Lord Miles is fasting for 40 days in the desert. There he is. Obviously, he can drink water, but he apparently has like a triple redundancy on this, so that you'll never not see him, so that you don't think he's cheating. But I'm keeping my eye on this. Lord Miles is he's a guy. He's a character. I don't know what happened with the Haiti plan. I'm still looking forward to that. All right. Lobst or Battlefield 6. Those are your choices. Battlefield 6 beta or Lobst. I know I said Lobst is for sure this time, but it's becoming the R2U doc of this stream where they promise it every time. I have listened to this, so I actually do know a couple places here. Basically, the first like 5 minutes of this is like him saying, I was wrong, I committed defamation, I lied, I'm retarded. And then the rest of it is coping and literally repeating the same defamatory claims and saying, but Billy's worse. The problem is that the root of this entire debate was whether you defamed him, and you admitted that you did.
Or believing that I would win, because I think that is a pretty natural tendency for most people to have in my position. But I had way too much hubris. I took a huge gamble.
So like I said, the first 8 minutes is him saying, I was wrong about everything. He literally says, let me find it in the transcripts. Billy is 8 things. There's a point where he literally says delusional. Deluded, here we go. Now, keep in mind this. He says that his evaluation of the legal situation between him and Billy, that he was deluded, okay? And then completely ignores that could occur again in all the rest of his analysis in this video.
Many people to know about the lawsuit as possible because the lawsuit was about. I shouldn't have wrong because it does relate to his ongoing lawsuit against me. I didn't want to talk about it because what I said was wrong and I was afraid to repeat it. However, if I didn't want to make it clear to everyone exactly what the lawsuit was about, I shouldn't have turned it into this giant public spectacle. The truth is, I did want as many people to know about the lawsuit as possible because I legitimately thought I had a good chance of winning. I was not willing to concede on any issues whatsoever or entertain the opposite viewpoint. To put it bluntly, I was deluded.
Okay, so he was deluded. He admits that in his evaluation of this case that had been going on for 3 fucking years, that he was deluded. Accepts that. Then the rest of this video is him making a bunch of claims about what he thinks bankruptcy law in Australia is, what he thinks is okay, and how he's totally never going to have to pay anything. And he's unwilling to even entertain the idea that he could possibly be, that if he was deluded once about this topic, he could possibly be deluded again. Number one, that's the next part of this, is the next 50 minutes of this is him explaining how he's never going to have to pay most of the money, how he's only ever going to have to pay like $100,000. It's very dry. I'm not going to make you go through it. Basically, he claims that in Australian bankruptcy law, it's possible to sell his house, his primary asset, to his wife, and then before bankruptcy concludes. And also during this period, he's immune from lawsuits. There's no way that's true. There's no way that's true. Or at least the way he portrays it, there's no way that's true. And again, he's so smug in multiple parts of this where he's like, if people had just done a little bit of research, they don't understand Australian property law. And it's like, well, you didn't understand defamation. You didn't understand anything about the legal aspects of this case, which is why you were, in your own words, deluded. As far as Carl Jotz's 4 things, I really want to do a Carl Jotz's 4. I really don't like this guy. I want to do like a full burn it all down type stream. The problem is that the bun is apparently still in the oven. Like, this would have been the time to do it, honestly. But then after this video, I don't think the story is over, because like I said, for a good hour of this video, he starts talking about his infidelity to Billy's alleged infidelity to his wife, about whether he was lying to be married. That's defamation per se. What the fuck does he think is going to happen? Even worse than that, he starts talking about Apollo Legend, it's Apollo Legend. Apollo Legend again, the thing he literally got sued over. But anyway, so in this section, he's talking about how he's apparently not going to have to actually pay out the full $1 million. The thing that he deletes out is that his wife, Miss Wong, who didn't take his name, which is pathetic, had to get the money from somewhere to buy out his share for the house. Which probably means she had to call on her family or something, which is insane. So basically his like, I'm poor, I don't own anything, I'm an employee of my wife, and that's why I won, because Billy's not gonna get his $500,000. He's only gonna get $100,000. You know, Billy has sued multiple parties. Most of them ended in settlements where we can't really say whether he won or not. Some of them ended in dismissals. But in all of those, he kept going, clearly because he has the resources to do this. And he achieved what you did in the first 8 minutes, which is admitting that not only were you wrong about everything, but you had been given multiple chances to get out of this, but you were delusional. And what's worse is he retcons that later, where he starts to say, I offered Billy Mitchell a settlement where I would give him $300,000. He didn't take it because, whoa, he wanted to actually prove in court that I'm a lying retard, which he did. But actually, I was being nice. And it's like, buddy, you cannot be coming out here saying you were looking out for Billy's interests with that offer when you're making a 2-hour video about how he's short and cheated on his wife.
The money the trustee receives is then given to the people that I owe money to. On YouTube, things weren't any better. LUS is a channel that claims to be a lawyer, and just like
that's the other thing. So he tries to burn down. Now there are some stuff that LUS said, which it was. I mean, Lus is cripplingly autistic. I already covered him before. However, Carl completely misrepresents one aspect of this, which is he says that Lus claimed that he was getting flagged after Carl already decided he wasn't going to, but he puts the clips in the wrong order. He lies. He just straight up lies in this, Carl does. He puts the clips in the wrong order. He puts the clip where Lus is spurging out about him getting reported before the clip where he says that he says he's going to report me, to make it look like Lus was trying to grift off of it. And now he was trying to grit off of it, to be honest. But still, he was perfectly valid in being upset about that, because you had made the threat and hadn't been clear. Carl's like, well, I immediately changed my mind. And because I talk about everything in Discord, because I'm a retarded gooner freak with a Pornhub account that I advertise to people, actually, this guy's dishonest. Now, LUS saying shit like, Carl's wife, reach out to me. Is he Asian, or does his crippling... No, he is Asian and cripplingly autistic. Him saying stuff like his wife should reach out to me is stupid. The other thing that Carl misrepresents in this is he says that Les says that his wife's a criminal, but if you actually listen to the full clip, he's saying, if this is not allowed, if this is hiding assets, then that would make her a criminal. And his point was that Carl was involving his wife potentially if this was illegal. I don't know. He's very loose with his analysis, which is not good for a guy who's going to publicly claim to be a lawyer or whatever. But there's a lot of dishonesty in the way Carl portrays that aspect of it too.
Reddit, he was calling me a criminal because he doesn't understand basic Australian bankruptcy law.
And you do. Again, you cannot call people out for not understanding the law when a mere 10 minutes ago in this video, you said you were literally deluded about your legal situation.
Carl Jobs, on the other hand, we are going to talk. I saved the best statement for last, because in my opinion, if this is real, if he was sued, he lost, Then he had his wife buy his equity in the home so he doesn't pay Billy Mitchell, and he's admitting so on Discord. We are crossing the line of criminal right now. We need to send these to the bankruptcy court. We need to.
Now, this is gay. You shouldn't have said this. You shouldn't be. That's like a gay app. That's touching. Like, just not necessarily. Like I said, Les did overreach here. But the way Carl portrays the order of operations here is also dishonest.
Send this video to the bankruptcy court. I need to get in touch with the bankruptcy court and let them know what's going on.
No,
because
you don't.
If this is real and this is not sarcasm, there are many things that Carl said that he could end up in jail. Forget.
Of course, nothing happened because I didn't do anything wrong, and everything that I explained can be found in 2 seconds on the Australian government.
Yeah, just like how you losing to Billy could have been found in 2 seconds of research. And you were deluded about that. This is my point. You cannot come to me like you're an expert in this after having just said 10 minutes ago I was delusional about this entire topic.
Site. I was in bad faith. When I covered The Completionist, I also recommend...
This is the other thing. Some accountant guy made a video where he went over The Completionist and says that that's all fake too. Like, there is enough material for a Carlos 4 thing stream where I go crazy. But it's just, there's going to be even more, I think. I think he's going to get sued again. I really do. I think Billy doesn't give a fuck and he just wants this guy to go back to going up to women on the street and saying they're pretty and walking away.
Recommended that people should report the charity to the relevant authorities. So I don't blame anyone for that, and it would be extremely... So this answers the question of whether or not the money earned by this... In my case, because I have one dependent, 50 cents will go to the trustee to be given to creditors. Pays themselves. Administrators not to accept.
Okay, here's the part where he says, I was trying to help.
If Billy accepted this offer, he would have received an immediate cash payment of $300,000 in order to release me from the judgment. Of course.
And you know what's so dishonest about this that he's not portraying? So he was willing to make an offer to get out of this case and pay, which means he's recognizing he was wrong. And yet he was still on his channel talking about how he was going to win and fundraising money for it.
That money wasn't coming from me, this was sourced from family members. This was a very generous offer.
So you were taking money from probably your wife's family. Imagine saying that like a win. I had to beg to my expat wife's family to give me money to pay off a guy who I lied about and called a murderer. This is why I'm a winner.
If Billy accepted this,
I then proceeded to lose anyway.
Offer, he would have received double the amount of money he will receive now through the bankruptcy process, and on top...
You know what, Carl? Maybe, just maybe, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message that you are a liar, retard, freak.
Of that, because I would be avoiding bankruptcy, all of my personal debts would still need to have been paid, which total over $100,000. However, Billy chose not to accept this offer. So instead of me paying Billy $300,000 and retaining all of my personal debts of over $100,000...
No, because you would have just declared bankruptcy anyway afterwards if you still had all those debts.
I was forced into bankruptcy, where my wife bought my share of the properties for $224,000.
And where did that money come from?
Of which...
Probably came from her family, who you're fucking over.
Billy only gets $150,000, and all...
Like, he's willing to fuck over his family, like, and take money from them, just so that Billy doesn't get as much money. That's what he's saying here.
My other personal debts are completely discharged in 3 years, along with my entire debt to Billy. Effectively...
See, now, I don't know about that, because usually civil judgments, you can't just discharge through bankruptcy, especially ones where there was damage, like actual damages.
Billy rejecting my offer cost him $150,000 and saved my family $200,000, which just shows...
So yeah, this is I'm a poor retard who lost, and that's why I'm a winner. And then the next part of this is him talking about his wife. This is the part where like he might get sued over this, because he makes a lot of very discreet claims. He also tries to relitigate the case where he plays the part where Billy is talking about how he was celebrating Apollo's death when he hadn't died, but there had been rumors about it. And he just straight up says here that he regrets it and is very sorry. And he sounds very sincere. At least for a court case, right? And that's all you really need to do. But then he starts talking about, like, well, he spurgs out about this thumbnail for a while, the one where he's getting hung, which was based.
Billy should have done before he sued me. This is so I knew what he owned in the event I won the lawsuit, and he owed me.
If only Billy knew how poor I really was. That's what he's saying right there. So yeah, he starts questioning like his marriage.
Well, it's because when he started having children with his current wife, he was married to another woman. Billy first got married.
Which, again, all this stuff about him being supposedly being a cheater or living or whatever, first of all, it can all kind of be explained away pretty easily, just that it takes a while to get divorced and stuff. I'm not saying it's good or not. Like, obviously, I don't like divorce, and you shouldn't have been doing this. But this is like when you get into the territory of just sticking your dick in the hole. Like, you're sticking your dick in the wood chipper when you say stuff like this after having lost a case like this. You're just going to get sued again. And you've already been adjudicated to be, like, a defamer.
Married in 1990. Then, in the mid-90s, he started a family with a woman who wasn't his. Of March 2003, Billy appeared in Season 4's 7th episode of the MTV series True Life, I'm a Gamer. In that episode, it shows Billy with his supposed wife, Evelyn. The interesting thing about this is that Evelyn wasn't his wife, as Billy was still married to someone else. However, I guess Billy figured that if he was going to publicly lie about who he was married to, he may as well make it official. So a week after this episode aired, Billy filed for...
You just call him a liar and a cheater.
Divorce. And when his divorce was finalized in late September of 2003, the very next week, he applied to marry his mistress of many years. So that's why Billy lies about his marriage, because the truth is that he had his children out of wedlock to a mistress, and that just doesn't sound quite...
Yeah, well, at least his wife carries his name.
...as wholesome.
I've already had 2 divorces, and you know.
Again, this is just like, what are you proving here? It's like he's trying to do a suicide bombing where he's like, this will finally make people think Billy's like a scumbag. Bro, I had no delusions about like Billy Mitchell he plays into being the heel. Like, okay, whatever. Like, the point is though, the other thing is I don't think he ever addresses. So Billy like made his response where he talked about the red joystick. And how that whole argument, which is like the crux of the entire he cheated argument, is bullshit. And I don't think he addresses that in this. Let me find it. Yeah, no, he doesn't say anything about it. Probably because there's no counter argument.
Spirits. Billy and I share a special bond.
Can we hear that again? I remember hearing this the first time I listened to this. He basically is like, we're not so different, you and I, Spider-Man. Together we could ruin this sector.
Look on the bright side. At least now me life. And given that...
Because this is the argument you're trying to make, is that Billy's actually poor and is on the verge of bankruptcy as well, even though he keeps doing these lawsuits, which very clearly means he's not.
Billy appears to have lost so much of his wife's money, I can't imagine the hell he is going through right now. But let's look on the bright side. At least now me and Billy have something in common.
Also just stealth admitting that his wife hates him right there. Because he's saying Billy must be having marriage problems, which means that he's like me. You know, the wife that now legally owns everything that Carl's ever done or made. Hope that doesn't blow up.
In fact, I would even consider us kindred spirits. Billy and I share a special bond. We both live in houses entirely owned by our wives.
Checkmate, dude. You got him.
Recently, Billy put out a video titled A Statement from Billy Mitchell, Carl Jobst. In the video, Billy discusses various things. Of course, it's full of lies as per usual, but he spends a good amount of time discussing
I just don't know how you can start a video saying, I was wrong about everything. I defamed him wrongly. In fact, and people tried to warn me. And I was delusional about my legal case and about what I had said. Anyway, here's 10 discrete claims that are like half of them are defamation per se. Like,
I GoFundMe, and what he says.
Well, isn't there controversy about his GoldenEye speedrun that's not even like an official run, like it's not an official record or something because there was some issue with it? Some guy made a comment saying that there's controversy even about Carl's runs or something. I don't fucking know.
The video is very interesting. It's incredibly dishonest, but I'm actually glad he came out with this video because it gives me the perfect opportunity to let the public know details that have never been made public before.
By the time Mr. Jobs had lost his financial backing from Notch, Notch's money was exhausted, he had failed to dismiss the case, he needed money, and he needed money now. But he knew his viewers may not open wallets if he was transparent about the true subject of the lawsuit. Here's what he does. Once, correspondent.
So this is him making the
did
claim
never
that
receive-
like his only correction about what the lawsuit was ever about was like hidden in a video with a retraction, which I don't know how he's going to disprove that because it's true.
follow-up, and he creates a GoFundMe campaign except the fact the last lawsuit.
Pretenses. The way Billy talks about things always seems to make sense upon first glance. That's what makes Billy such a great con artist. If you have no context or any knowledge on the topic he is discussing, it's easy to believe what he says. But when you break the things he says down piece by piece and examine them in greater detail, you will always find that he is completely...
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, is he wants to get sued again for some reason. Like it's because I think he makes a claim in here that he can't get sued. Like if he's under bankruptcy protection, he can't get sued, which is just fucking insane that he thinks it's that simple. It's not. I guarantee you it's not, because that just wouldn't work. But like even so, like even if that was the case, that he just gets sued after the protections go away, is he just trying to like waste his money over and over again? Like I think he's just going Joker mode, but like in a really gay way.
full of shit. So let's go through Billy's statements and break them down piece by piece.
On May 10th, 2022, Mr. Jobs published a video about me that led my lawyers to send a concern notice to his lawyers. On May 22nd, 2022, Mr. Jobs and I were scheduled for mandatory mediation in the already existing lawsuit, one and only lawsuit. Before the mediation, my lawyers emailed his lawyers a copy of a legal complaint related to the concerns notice, and my lawyers said that I would proceed.
A second complaint filed if the existing lawsuit did not resolve, which is that for the past...
None of this attacks his claim, which is that you fundraised for a second lawsuit that was never filed and then never told anybody. Which is like the actual problem here.
Last 2 years, Billy has been saying that the second complaint never existed at all, and I was lying about the entire thing. In July 20...
You were lying. It's called lying by omission. When you have a GoFundMe up over a second lawsuit and then you don't tell anybody that it never got filed.
23, in a public rant, Billy said that I was lying about the second complaint and that there was only ever one complaint.
But then you go on there and you say he's suing me again. Being sued.
That was sent to us, and we were advised that it would be filed and to admit this.
To begin, the second claim was meritorious relating to that concerns notice. Complete.
Bill had instructions to file the second lawsuit. We didn't hear anything further.
Exactly. It never got filed. What's your point? Like it's... And then there's all this shit about apparently Carl and him were fighting over the bankruptcy trustee who got contacted, because of course he did, asking whether he was doing okay, which is just, this is stupid. Like, of course the trustee's gonna... And like so much of this is self-inflicted by him posting shit in the Discord. And to be clear, he's posting more than just like stuff he shouldn't be posting in the Discord as far as legal stuff. Also, let's remember this guy has like a 10-year Pornhub account that he wants all his friends to follow, okay?
Reasons for a lawsuit I think I've probably ever heard in general.
$300,000.
This is the part where he says that Notch literally ghosted him. So Notch sent him money, and then Carl went and begged for more, and then just got ghosted. And then he takes no lesson from that. He takes no like implication from that maybe it's because he realized that Carl's retarded.
And what I am deeply appreciative of, and will never ever forget, is that even after I lost, Notch was still very supportive. I mean, after Billy, Notch spent the most money out of anyone. It is because of Notch and because of the GoFundMe donors that I was able to stand up to Billy like I did.
By losing. Also, how can you say you were standing up to him when the first 8 minutes of this video is you saying you were wrong, you did do what he accused you of, you did do the defamation. You cannot say I did defamation. Also, me fighting him in court was virtuous. Those are two contradictory positions. Like, this is the delusion. It's like his lawyers wrote this first half, or first 8 minutes, and then he just went into delusion mode after that.
I did this in his I Lost video. They did things the way they wanted to do it, and my opinion wasn't very relevant. Now, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, this is the part where he shits on his own legal counsel. Despite, again, earlier in this video, saying, I was wrong about the evaluation of my case, I was deluded.
And he again refused. There was tons of evidence I told them to present, which they didn't.
They didn't present what I wanted them to. Yeah, maybe because you're an unreliable narrator and you would have looked like a fucking retard on the stand, bud.
There were tons of questions I told them to ask, which they didn't. They did things the way they wanted to do it, and my opinion wasn't very relevant. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if this was because of rules of evidence or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about and have admitted in this video earlier that I was literally delusional, but I could have won.
Some legitimate reason, but the fact remains, there were tons of questions and evidence that I wanted to present that I had no control over and were never shown. In his deposition, Billy also confirmed that his business was doing much better since 2020.
Well, your business... He also tries to claim in here that the hot sauce company's not actually doing well or whatever, even though he's always claimed that it was like a family company. Also, who the fuck cares? It's doing well now.
This is doing great now, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Are there still lingering effects from the defamatory statements?
There is. It's doing much.
This is like one of the only good points he makes is when he kind of goes back and forth about the damages.
Better.
The thing is, it's very clear that, like, Billy got talked to by his lawyers, and they're like, no, here's the line. You were damaged. And then he sticks with that for the rest of the case, which is just how, like, it's how client management works, Carl. Maybe if you were better at listening to your lawyer's advice like Billy was, you wouldn't be in this position. Okay, and then literally the back half of this video, or I guess it's a quarter of this video, is the parts where he's literally just trying to prove that Billy is insecure about his height by being ironic and saying, Billy's tall. He certainly isn't insecure, but he has to stand on a paint can. Who the fuck cares? Also, there are some of these instances where it makes sense what he's doing. Why because he's like the centerpiece of whatever. And then this is the lust part.
Or a toolbox to make himself taller. I sincerely apologize for spreading these disgusting false rumors.
But he's got this.
Also, really, really bad move to put an ironic fake apology to make a point in the same video where you're supposedly making a sincere one. You really don't want those to be next to each other.
Video, and I know it's almost 3 hours of a live stream. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but the time and
trying to take their channels down.
So this is the clip he plays first. This clip is after Lust had already made like 50 videos on Carl, and Carl had all this stupid shit about the bankruptcy. But he plays this clip first to make him look like a crazy unhinged weirdo, which he is, a crippling autistic weirdo. But this is very dishonest.
Just for talking about me. I really must be evil. According to Reddit, I was threatening to report someone just for making videos about me. The same way that I'm after blood. I wanted to report smaller channels.
And to be clear, this isn't the first time Carl's done this. He got mad at the internet banned off YouTube because they played the clip of his wife giving a pat on the head for getting a fake speedrunning record.
Because they talked about me, and I don't like that. This has to be true because someone said it was.
It's true because there's a literal fucking message of you on Discord saying, report him. It's not just because someone said he showed his source. You can evaluate that how you want.
Let's take a look at what really happened. My Discord message was in relation to the channel LUS. From the time of the video, that is more than one me. However, this isn't why I said I would report his channel. You can upload as many videos about full of lies. Hint, I don't really care. All of those 52 videos are full of lies. He just makes things up and spouts them as fact. For example, remember how I checked with my lawyers before posting my GoFundMe to make sure I was describing things correctly?
And we were supposed to know that.
Well, here is LUS spreading the lie that I never checked with my lawyers.
No, he's saying you're not acting as if you have. And considering at the beginning of this video, you said you were so delusional, you wanted to do an appeal when it was not meritorious, kind of suggests that that's not a terrible conclusion to come to.
So if Carl had any question about this and how he should phrase the terminology, he can go straight to his very expensive lawyers. I'm confused how many...
I can't believe I have to defend this autist, but Carl, the point here is that your actions suggested that you were not listening to your lawyers. Not objectively 100% true you weren't, or you weren't talking to them. And again, when you tell us at the beginning of this video that you were quite literally, in your own words, deluded about the state of your case, that again seems to be you admitting that you were not listening to your lawyers. When 20 minutes ago in the same video, you were talking about how you wanted them to do this and show this piece of evidence and they didn't, and you didn't have any control. Again, that suggests that you are not simpatico with your lawyers. These are a collection of circumstantial evidence to suggest that something is happening. And that is not a justification for reporting his fucking channel, because he's coming to basic conclusions anyone would come to based off your conduct.
Times he's smart enough, and I think it is. Carl has only been about money. Carl will it all being about money.
In fact, I was remember how I made a settlement offer to Billy early in the lawsuit?
Like he's using proof that was not public, which is like my email to my lawyer and my settlement offer that was private, to be like, this guy's lying. No, a lie would have been if you had put all this out publicly and Les had intentionally not covered it because it went against his narrative. That would be dishonest. But that's not what happened. What we're supposed to know, your private correspondence? No, we have to come to conclusions based on the public things we say. And the fact of the matter is, we already saw way more things public than we should have because of your stupidity in the Discord.
Was the only person to try and settle. Here is LUS spreading the lie that I never tried to settle.
Because you weren't acting like as if you had offered a settlement offer, and you weren't there. You didn't come out and say, yes, actually I had afterwards. If you had, then that would have been the back and forth, and we would have believed who we wanted to believe. Instead, you lied in wait until now, where you can put all this stuff and say, well, there are private emails that prove that actually this wasn't what's happening. This guy's malicious by lying. Actually, I think you're malicious for not showing all of this at the time.
This has been my clear alludes to a win for both parties. Both parties, mediation.
This is true, by the way, that lawyers do want you to settle. Like the basic, that is something true.
Joe, just such hatred coming from him, he just can never come to settlement. And you would like to pay Carl, but
indicated that she wanted to stop supporting, at which time I messaged Not.
His manager pulls the plug, and according to Carl, he doesn't not dollars from his own fans that I don't. If this is real, if he was
Israel, this is Israel
was sued, he lost,
and that's why he always says if like of course let's like overextended on some of this stuff, but like at no point was he making legal assertions. He looks bad because he's a lawyer and was wrong about Australian law, right? But again, it's like dishonest the order that he's showing this.
Property. And because of LUS and his audience who reported her, negotiations were delayed as the trustee needed.
And who put the wife into this? Okay, so first of all, great job showing your wife's first name in in this video. Really great stuff. And you've already shown her last name before, so now we know her name. Good work, buddy. Second of all, who is the one who involved the wife? Because it wasn't Les. It was you posting in Discord saying, I've moved all my assets to my wife. If you had never said that, people would not be looking into your wife. But they are now. Because you used her, you threw her, basically used her as like a shield, a human shield.
To investigate the reports. Thankfully, LUS only managed to delay.
And then you're mad that people are commenting about it and asking whether this is legal or not, or having any kind of commentary.
Things for a day or two.
And he wasn't the only one to talk about this stuff, but of course he threatens to report him.
The trustee looked into the reports, they read my Discord conversation, realized that all I was doing was accurately describing what would happen, and then they accepted the offer. But for a day or two, my wife was extremely stressed and upset.
Yes, and she should be upset at you because you put in a Discord that was public that she was involved in this.
So congratulations, LUS. You made an innocent woman cry. I guess
you did, Carl. You're the one who used her as a human shield. You're the one who was bragging about your stupid fucking scheme in the Discord that you knew was public, that people had already been reporting the contents on. This wasn't the first message that got reported out. Everything that was posted in there had already been reported on, including your stupid gooner bullshit. So you knew that people were going to read that message. You knew people were going to look into it because you know that you have A-logs. And then you're saying it's his fault for just talking about it.
Yes, that means you've achieved.
What bullshit! This guy literally he lashes out as he strikes you, like
something. This is why I said I would report.
He slinks
his
back
channel.
if he strikes you, as if to say I've been found out.
And isn't it rich how LUS and his audience reporting me and my wife is seen as a good thing, but me...
I didn't think it was good. I said earlier in the video, telling people to report it was gay.
Reporting LUS is considered evil. They actively try to prevent my wife and...
Yeah, because there's a difference between reporting to YouTube and reporting to a legal authority, Carl. Like, those are two very different standards here. When you report to YouTube, you're reporting to get the guy taken down because you don't like what he said. I know he denied that earlier, but I think we've proven by now that that's really what this was about, because his wife got mad at him for himself revealing this information. And the other is reporting, like, doing the actual process for a potential, like, violation of the law.
Son from keeping their home. Their goal...
Yes, he was trying to take your home. Now, it wasn't you for doing defamation, as you admit earlier in this video. It wasn't you for being deluded about your chances of winning, as you say earlier in this video. It wasn't you for continuing to fight this, like you said earlier in this video. It wasn't you for declaring bankruptcy, as you admit to doing earlier in this video. It wasn't you for now doing a bunch of defamation again and probably going to get sued. No, it was less for reporting on a Discord message you made where you talked about your wife. Yes, he's the one taking his house away. It's not you.
Was to make them lose everything. And this is seen as noble. Their hate for me has clouded their moral judgment so much that disgusting acts like this are...
It's just no self-awareness. Like, your hate for Billy has lost your child their home. Your hate for Billy is why you will own nothing and be happy. Like, the fuck?
Are applauded. But you know what's beautiful about this situation? Just 13 minutes after saying I would report him, I took it back and said I wouldn't take any action. And just an hour later, I clarified again that I wasn't going to report his channel. For a grand total of 30...
Yeah, but you had already told your fans to do it. Buddy, this is Brigading 101. What kind of... How dumb does he think people are? He says the reason you say I will report him in your Discord is because you want your Pornhub followers, which is literally what he has them as, to report him for you. That way you have plausible deniability. This is like the oldest fucking trick in the book. Are you serious?
13 minutes put us to the government in an attempt to stop my wife and son from keeping their home. To be homeless? Or did he just not consider the ramifications of his act?
What are you worried about? If you weren't breaking the law, then it was never going to do anything. That's your position, right? Is that you're totally compliant in the law. So then why would, then no, he wasn't trying to take your home away. He was just trying to make sure that everything was above board. Again, I don't think he should have reported anything, but you can't hold these two positions. Either he was malicious because you were doing something wrong and you didn't want people to draw attention to it, and you should have been able to keep your shit, or everything he did was above board, it was all fine, in which case, who cares?
Trying to defend himself, LUS claimed that his wife is an extremely intelligent and educated woman with a degree in accounting. And yet, you don't even see it. Or is it just that you're feigning ignorance? Even things that happened well before I was sued are treated as some kind of evil plot. For example,
I think you're just retarded. I think you're a retarded, egotistical mongoloid who thinks that you're always on top. You're literally like Just a Robot. There's a clip from Just a Robot, which I want to cover that guy. He's fucking hilarious. Where he says, I've won every internet drama. And then that's why he was so willing to defend a literal groomer, because he just assumed he would win. You are just an Australian Just a Robot. You're just as dumb. You're just as autistic. You're just as delusional. In your own words, by the way, delusional.
My wife is an extremely
smart, right? When he made his wife the director and the secretary. Okay?
And you, the company was created well before I was even sued and had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it was for tax reasons. I get why he did that.
Not only is what LUS is so ignorant about everything and fills in every single gap in his knowledge with Carl.
He's so ignorant about everything. By the way, I just lost a defamation suit that I had multiple chances to settle from, and I was literally deluded in my own words.
Is evil. He
Carl's wife. She kept her Chinese last name. She has a...
This is the Chinese stuff. Honestly, what Les says here, where he's like, reach out to me, this was gay and retarded. He shouldn't have said this, and he's worthy to be criticized for it.
American name. Chinese person to another Chinese person. If you want someone to talk to, reach out to me, Wong, and we can talk. Right?
I think they're Magic the Gathering. I think he got started out as like one of those Magic collectors who like has a stock and buys and sells, does arbitrage on the cards. I have a friend who's made a lot of money that way. I don't know anything about Magic though. It's very autistic. He's very autistic. So yeah, this is basically every part of the like this is the whole thing. We don't need to watch the whole 2 hours. I just covered all the substantial elements of it. Again, I want to do like a full Carl's 4 things, just burn him down stream, but I can't now because I think he's going to get sued. I don't. The story's not over. Like this guy's not going to stop until like he gets committed, until like something happens that makes it so that he like gets offline. He's like forced offline either by the law or like I don't know, by his wife or something. He's literally just a robot, but Australian and a little luckier. Although not even. I think Just a Robot also has like 1 million subs. I don't know. It's just totally delusional and retarded. The other thing I want to talk about, this will probably be the last thing, is Hassan saying to kill Gila Klein. Yeah, this happened. I know people get annoyed that I keep bringing it up. Well, actually, I haven't seen anyone get annoyed, but I'm getting annoyed with myself for keep bringing it up. But again, let's think about the Herman Khan escalation ladder. I told you that this was just going to keep getting worse because and saying literally, "I want to kill your wife" that's the stage we're at now.
Matter if they're DFLP, PFLP, or even former Fatah militants. Okay, it is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral. Okay. 100%. This is not like this is not a gray area. This is black and white. Okay. It doesn't get more black and white than this. Israel's in the wrong. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza.
Crime to who? I don't want to get too political spurgy here because, again, if you want to hear like my thoughts on all that, just there's like a 4-hour Ethan Hassan debate where I go over why all the way these guys talk about foreign policy is retarded. They always talk about morals, they talk about law, but they don't say where the law comes from or its derivation or its authority or anything because they don't want to accept any transcendental source. So it's just feels, it's just vibes or whatever. And that's how you end up with saying that kill the secretary wife, because it's just, there's no construction to it at all.
An apartheid in the West Bank, 2 crimes in and of itself.
Crime to who? Who made that law? States exist in a state of nature. There's no higher authority than sovereignty if you don't believe in like a transcendental source. So illegal to your broad internationalist moral philosophy that is not actually the stated philosophy of the UN or whatever you're trying to appeal to here. And the UN that you also believe is like an imperialist construct by American world empire, which it is, but like
every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like wife that participate in the Israelis. Doesn't matter.
So he says that everybody spurgs out for some reason.
I guess. So I think it's pretty fucking obvious.
Has decided to defend this or something. I don't know.
That Hassan Piker mentioning Gila Klein in current day while describing a valid military target is absolutely reckless and fucking stupid. That being said, there is additional context here that needs to be shown to provide what he's actually trying to say in his argument. Because I noticed the clip starts pretty late, and this is probably why.
Current political leadership in Israel does not want a Palestinian state, and the Israeli parliament just approved a motion to annex the West Bank.
Like any kind of violence that Israeli settlers or the Israeli military experiences in the West Bank is literally legal, okay? It is legal resistance against an
legal. What law? No one. Who knows?
Occupying military force. I cannot.
Like in this context, he is absolutely talking about people who are currently occupying the West Bank. People who are actively invading the West Bank.
Yeah, but he would say that they're all, even the people who aren't there are invading because they're part of the institution or whatever.
Not people who live in California.
I cannot repeat this enough. Just like any kind of, if they're apartheid, okay, it doesn't get engaging in an apartheid settlers. That part is literally legal, definite garb that makes youth
tense a lot. I think it's like a stupid idea to invoke Gila Klein in the middle of this argument specifically, unless you do it very carefully. And I understand why people are coming away from this thinking that he's talking about Gila Klein in current day. I don't think that was the intent behind the comment that he made in the clip.
I don't think that I think considering that this guy's talking about law of a non-recognized state and morals of state actors, like I think you've put more thought into it than he has, and you still haven't put a lot in. Shamu talked about how the UN said, well, what sovereignty does the UN have? Name one piece of territory that the UN has sovereignty over. It doesn't have sovereignty over its member states, so it can't determine law. And it doesn't appeal to any transcendental like authority, like God. The UN, like, people who criticize the UN as just an instrument of an American world empire are right. Like, it's 100% true. So then we have to evaluate, like, the law of the United States itself. And the law of the United States, because, again, it does not believe in an objective, moral, transcendental source. The law is just security. It's just survival, like any other secular state. This is why using, like, talking about legal or you can do this and you can, it's just retarded. Any actor that sees itself as like a state actor, including ones that aren't recognized, like Palestine, will use any methods that they can to pursue their interests. There's no moral element. There's no legal element to it. I mean, by that definition, like, the insurgents were legal in Iraq when they were defending against our invasion that was not approved by the UN. And I would say that they were, like just from like a purely moral standpoint, having me believing in God and thinking that good is an objective thing that exists. But from the point of view of states that don't believe that, which is every current state on earth, except for maybe like, well, it just is. I guess the Muslim one, maybe like Saudi Arabia, but then you have to get into Muslim moral philosophy where war is a good thing. So like that's a whole nother thing. So Nick copes there and then says support for Hila Klein is pivotal right now. This is coming from the guy who says you shouldn't be listening to me about politics or what's right or wrong, whatever. Here's Destiny saying that the best response to people saying that it's unacceptable for Hassan saying to kill Hila is to say that he should be killed. Great stuff, Destiny. Thank you for your contribution to this escalation chart. Great stuff. All right. Apparently, GeoGuessr costs money now. I'm getting into it since I played it on that stream. But look, I got Infinite Volcano as my random name. It's like the green volcano. All right, how does this work? I haven't actually done this yet. Well, there's music. Okay, where are we? We're in Africa. And Kanye. Holy shit, this is Chicago. Kanye. This is probably northern Nigeria. That was the mistake I made before, is Kanye. Keep your eye out for Kanye. Why does this have music? I just want to see if I'm better than I tried to see if I could join, if he has like a group and I could join the game, because I think that would be funny. Alright, we got 50 seconds. Oh, Kanye! Hold on. Alright, I'm just going for this. Maybe it's a transliteration error. Oh. Well, there we go. I fucked that up. That would have been kind of the other guess, though, I guess, is, like, Sunset. Carlsberg, so Europe. All, so French. Foxhole. Oh, what does that say? Does this tell us the street names, like that, like, the open source one? Okay, so this is definitely France. Wide streets. Is this Paris? Oh, wait, no, this is Belgium. Let's go! Gaming. What is that? It looks like Chinese. What is that? That Korean? Korean script, it looks like? Yeah, this is Korean. So probably just Seoul. That's where they all are. Boom, let's go. And that's how it's, I guess we only get 3. How many points did we get? Did we win? Like, how does that work? Duels. Whoa. Campaign. Whoa. Can I do anything? Oh boy. Well, I'm too good at the game. That's why they're cucking me out of that. That's my narrative, guys. They're afraid of my power. They're afraid of how good I am at geoguessing. Let's see how Lord Miles is doing. Do I at least get to keep my points? Are those recorded anywhere? So I can brag to people about my GeoGuessr score? No, doesn't count for anything. I suck. Alright. He's still sleeping out there. I was kind of hoping he'd be awake by now. Oh well. Have you heard of this guy's shift? He speedruns Battle for Bikini Bottom. Hold on. What's it called? SIFT. Hold on. Is this him? Does he not have a live stream? Oh, he's on Twitch. Okay, okay. Let's see. Let's see.
Welcome. Barnacle boy.
You haven't defeated me. Congratulations.
Look at him.
Never give up.
Congratulations. You won.
SpongeBob, yeah!
Congratulations. You won.
He's so bad.
Never give up.
Wait, no, he won, I guess.
You won.
Wait, so is he happy?
I felt like the Christmas subathon was a really good way to like
Battle for Bikini Bottom. Okay.
fuck! God damn it, man. Fucking fuck. Fucking fuck, I'm so fucking bad. How do you...
Why this game? Isn't this just... this is just like a random game for the Xbox, right? From like the 2000s? It's not like this is some super competitive thing. Why this game?
Fucking missed that. You're fucking garbage, man. Oh my god, what the fuck? What happened to you? What happened to you? When did you fucking become shit?
Oh no.
Ah!
Let's go. This is what real gaming looks like.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! God!
What are you talking about, Weeb? What are you even talking about? Are you talking about how streaming with like Discord people? I said I thought it was stupid. I thought it was unwise. I even said that in the Jub stream. I agree that was unwise. Fuck! It's not what that stream was about. I made that pretty clear.
God damn it, man. Fucking fuck.
Hold on. I want to listen to this.
You! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Look, man. If this is what happens when you play the game, you shouldn't be playing this game. Like, this is not fun. It's funny. I mean... Okay, is there more? Oh my god, we got 2 hours. Is he muted?
What the
Oh, there we go.
What the fuck, man? Are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding? Why? Literally fucking why, man? Literally fucking why? Are you fucking kidding?
After the 80-day subathon, it was like, oh, dude.
I can't wait to watch speedruns of this game again.
Yeah, that sounds bad. That's why I didn't have anything to do with those guys. That's why I don't do anything on Discord. I have one server that I used for the call-in the other day that has nothing else in it. I always said it was unwise, and yeah. I'm not any of these guys' father. It's not my job to save any of them. I told them what I thought about it, and that was that.
3 days, 200 viewers. I'm not even fucking raging at the game. I'm not
true. Not even really raging at the game.
Sick. None of these people have any fucking grounds, by the way, telling me that my lifestyle is unhealthy when I'm in better shape than all of them. Let me have a run. Fucking tired of this, man.
Then stop.
Fucking
Did
tired.
he at least make money? Like, okay, is that what this is really about? Does he get like a ton of views and money from this? Is that just the play? The Gollum era. The 41 incident. Hold on, let's just see this one segment here, and then I'll end. But I'm gonna keep this in the back pocket because this is pretty funny.
Yikes!
Yeah, well, the point is that Jub was not the only one telling him that. You're just assigning it to Jub because for whatever reason to start shit in the chat, and you'll delete these messages later, which is fine, man. I get it. It's a sector. Go off, King. But yeah, and Jub was not the only one telling him that. That's my point. That's why that stream wasn't about whether you should stream with whoever or get involved in Discord, because obviously you shouldn't.
Will SpongeBob be able to neutralize the giant robot's brain?
Is this the last level? Holy. Oh, this is the fuck up? That's why it's called the 41 incident, because he's at 41. It's tough. You know what this is? Hold on. I hope this doesn't get flagged. It might. Hold on.
What seed? What root did it grow?
Hold on, I'm trying to line this up.
Grow. What seed?
Where is it?
How did still?
Here it is.
This great evil. Where's it come from? might it still end the world? What seed, what root did it grow from? Who's doing this?
Are you kidding?
Who's killing us?
Are you fucking kidding? God, man.
Robbing us of life and light.
Why?
Mocking us with the sight of what we might have known.
Why are we fucking playing like a monkey, man? What the fuck is this shit? Why is this just like the worst I've ever fucking played in my entire life, dude? What the fuck? This is so bad. Fuck. So bad.
Proven what? The thing that we all agreed with? Like, again, no one argued against the point that you shouldn't get involved in Discord shit. You're trying to make it about that as like a proxy to defend 4 years of bullshit. Again, like, you can't actually defend any of the results of his bullshit. So you have to focus on this thing that everybody agreed on.
Oh my god, man.
Does our ruin benefit the earth?
It's over, it's
Does
over,
it
it's
help
over.
the grass to grow, the sun to shine?
Quits.
Ran around the perimeter of the box. Oh my god.
Is this darkness
man.
in you too?
Dude, come on. Oh my god.
Years running. Thank you. Ow.
I'm gonna fucking cry, man. Come
So
on,
tough, man.
Dude. Nothing. Would you like to someday...
So what's the Golem era?
Fuckhead! Fucker! Fuck!
Okay, I see it now. Okay, I see the Golem era now.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
That's what I was saying. Why this game? This isn't like a particularly competitive game. Like, it's like for kids from the early 2000s. It's like very casual from what I understand.
Man, oh, it was beautiful.
I think I played this like, you know, when it came out like a bazillion years ago. It was not some super hardcore thing.
Fucking beautiful, man. Just fucking beautiful. It's so bullshit. It's actually just like literally every fucking it's not even gonna bother.
All right, I'm saving this. So there's full 2 hours of this. This is pretty kino. You have to think Shift has had countless dreams about, yeah, their cherry-picked moments. Dude, it's 2 hours, man. That's pretty tough. All right. All right, well, I've been cucked out of, even though I was doing so well on GeoGuessr. I got like 2 that were like almost perfect scores. They want me to pay. Maybe they should do a thing where I pay more and then all you guys can join anonymously and then we can compete. I'm just going to become iDubbbz. I'm just going to take the iDubbbz content strategy because as we know, it's like really good and it works really well.